What is going on, Internet? This is CCW. We Talk Wrestling. My co-host. Do you want to go by Joe or Jay Pizzle?
We can just go by Joe's fine.
Joe. I am.
Yeah, that'll work.
My CCW name back when we wrestled was Nick Kelly. So I mean, Nick Kelly, whatever.
I thought it was just
Um,
Blyce.
nah. I had like 15 names, dude. We both had to play like 12 characters just to have an actual wrestling league.
Well, when you have to be multiple people to fill out a roster,
Yeah. Between us, your family, and a couple of neighborhood kids.
that is right.
And that was even after, like before I joined. I don't even know what it was like before I joined you guys. I just know it was a lot.
I've got VHS tapes that I'm holding close to my chest to not release to the public
Ever.
uh, for the sake of my my cousins and old friends.
But yeah,
No
so
one no one wants to see a bunch of squeaky voiced preteens rolling around on a mattress anyways.
so we're actually gonna be we're a new podcast. We may eventually start adding video of ourselves into it depending on how things go. But for now, I figured this is a good way to start. Um, so CCW basically stands for Champions Championship Wrestling. It was a little backyard league that Joe here started back when he was, how old were you? Fucking
Oh, I would have been
15,
13.
13, somewhere
Oh
between 13
no.
and 15.
15 would have been no, it would have been like 13. Yeah,
And
we were young.
yeah, I met Joe when I was 13. Actually, we've known each other for around close to 25 years. Um,
Yep.
we met my last year in middle school. I think you were a sophomore at that point because you're
I
two
would
years
have
ahead of
been
me,
a
weren't you?
sophomore.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm older than you, so I would hope so.
I just couldn't remember if you were
Otherwise,
one
my
one year
acting
ahead or
career,
2 years ahead. As far as in school,
I
because
was.
my birthday fell in a weird place.
That's true. You December babies, winter babies.
But yeah,
Um,
we met when I was in ninth grade, and I think we didn't even hang out until I was actually in high school. Though I think freshman year was about the time we actually started hanging out.
I think you're wrong. I think actually you were in middle school because you and Johnny were in
Was
middle school. You
oh
were
what?
Johnny's friend first.
Right. No, I know that. That's why I said I know we met in ninth grade. I don't remember if we started hanging out when we met or if it took a while. Is where I was basically going
It
with
took
that.
it took a little bit. So I met you because you had a Nintendo 64 with the AKI wrestling games, and
Tis
we would
true.
go to your house and play.
And then
So that was my introduction to you.
it turned eventually into us being the best duo in 2v2 basketball in our neighborhood.
Yes, we ran the playgrounds. Ran the playgrounds.
And then yeah, I mean, eventually became best friends down the over time, and we were both each other's best men at each other's weddings, and
Yes,
it's been a long
long
time,
standing friendship.
long time. So we should have done this 20 years ago, but it is what it is. Um,
Well, life gets in the way.
but no, we're here now, and the reason I wanted to start it all in, so we talked about doing this podcast probably at Royal Rumble, I think is when it was. Um,
Yeah, we were sitting in the
I
seats.
I cracked a joke about starting a podcast where we would be in kayfabe and pretend like we had no clue wrestling was fake or staged, not fake, but staged. Because I thought it would be a really cool idea for a podcast channel, whether it was YouTube or whatever. Because everybody, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, and we use them all the time too, and we'll use them all the time during this podcast. But it drives me nuts that fans overuse wrestling terms all the time. One of the things you messaged me earlier, I think, was Goldberg
Oh,
taking
about
so many
kayfabe being.
bumps,
Oh
and I'm
no,
like,
not the Gunther was bumping his ass off for Goldberg tonight.
Right, and
Spoiler.
I was just like, I really hate that we use those terms. I hate it. I use them too, though. It wasn't like I was mad at you. I was just like, man, as fans, I do miss us just being caught in
Oh
the
man,
moments.
I threw kayfabe at you earlier. I threw a bunch of wrestling lingo at you over Messenger throughout the night.
Right, right. But no, so we talked about starting this a little bit sooner, and I think finally I was like, I thought All In is a good time to start because I didn't want to start at Money in the Bank because I don't care. And uh, I say that loosely. I love WWE. I am not a fuck WWE guy fully. I remember better times.
He's an AEW shield.
I have my gripes with AEW too. I do favor them for sure, but um, not very many with this show though. Let me tell you. Um. So fuck it. We're gonna go ahead and jump into this. So, All In kickoff show, the 0 hour as they call it, was actually
0 hour.
really, really long and boring. uh, it was cool to see Paul White back on TV. I don't think I've seen him on TV since he got slammed onto a car.
True.
And it was just really good to actually see him. He was looking rough though. There were times he was sitting in a chair while everyone else was standing.
Yeah. So his mobility is an issue. I mean, being that large, it was
Absolutely.
Did I tell you? Me and my wife, when we were going through the airport, we saw Mark Henry, and Mark Henry was being wheeled around in a wheelchair. So when you're that big, I mean, mobility is something else. So
the only person you told me you guys saw was Karrion.
It's rough. Yeah, we saw Karrion Kross in Florida at MCO. Yeah, him and Scarlett sitting there waiting for their flights. Didn't dare go to approach him. He looked like he was not in the best of moods.
I mean, to be fair,
all those rumors about him not liking to take back bumps probably was weighing on his mind.
But yeah, so we got to see Paul White, Jeff Jarrett, RJ, and Renee, who's actually I think is a really good little team they got going on for the pre-show.
Yeah, all pros.
Renee's Renee though. I mean, Renee's probably the best talker in terms of interviewer and stuff like that, in my opinion, in a very long time.
She's very good at her job. She wouldn't be there otherwise. So.
At this point, before matches even got underway, on Twitter, Tony Khan did jump on and announce to everybody that Adam Cole wasn't cleared to wrestle, and he was forfeiting the TNT title. And we'll obviously get more into that later once we hit the main show. But they did announce it on Twitter and said that it was going to be Kyle Fletcher, Garcia, Guevara, and Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes. Not that there's any other Rhodes that would be wrestling.
Not in that company.
But yeah, so it was going to be a 4-way for that match, which had, again, we'll get there later. I'm sure if you're listening to this podcast, you've already seen it. I was hella surprised by the end of it, but
yeah,
I have both good and bad things to say about it, so it'll be a fun time once we get there.
Indeed.
So 0 hour match 1 with Shane Taylor Promotions, which is Charlie Bravo, Lee Moriarty, Shane Taylor, and Sean Dean. Now, Charlie Bravo and Sean Dean make up a tag team that I cannot remember what the actual name of the team is.
I can't either.
I'm not a fan of them as a tag team. I have an unreasonable enjoyment of Shane Taylor for some reason, and Lee Moriarty's all right. I don't. Lee Moriarty, honestly, he does fit that similar build issue that you do have with AEW.
You mean where they have a lot of the same build wrestlers that do the same stuff?
Yeah.
That don't stand out. So
the difference is
to have less of them.
The difference is several of them do stand out for one reason or another. Lee Moriarty, in my opinion, does not.
Lee Moriarty has always been a really good technical wrestler that just has had a hard time putting across any personality. Which leads people to believe he has a lack of charisma.
Right. But they were wrestling up against the Sons of Texas and the Von Erichs, who, so Shane Taylor Promotions came out with Anthony Ogogo, and then the Sons of Texas, which are Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, came out with, and the Von Erichs, which are Marshall Von Erich and Ross Von Erich, which are the sons. Are they both the sons of Kevin?
I believe so, yes.
I couldn't remember if they were, like I said, sons or cousins. But yeah, they're the sons of Kevin Von Erich, and Kevin actually came to the ring with him, which, for those of you that don't know, Kevin did just recently sign a quote-unquote Legends deal with AEW.
Oh, see, I was all aware of that, so kudos to him.
I keep my ear to the Twitter streets, my guy. To the Twitter streets.
Twitter is a rough place, man.
It is.
I have a hard time looking at the Twitter machine.
The amount of people I have to mute on a daily basis.
Yeah, I'll have to increase my social media
both AEW
exposure.
Both AEW and WWE fan wise. Honestly, I have to mute a lot of people because I'm in so many different corners of Twitter. Never become a super fan of anything where you're actually looking into stuff, because you will learn any fan base you're a part of, most of the people suck inside of it.
What? People in toxic behavior? What? Not a chance.
Now, obviously, I expected going into this match for the Von Erichs and the Sons of Texas to win. They're in Texas. They got the probably loudest standing ovation of the pre-show. And I didn't expect anything else. I mean, you're going to be in Texas, and they're going to root for their home people. Only one other person, I think, actually during the entire show got quite the ovation, at least for an entrance. And she is also a hometown native. So we'll get there as well. But yeah, no, so you didn't watch this match, right?
I did not. I missed the first two pre-show matches because my satellite was, we had some rain here, and the satellite was not cooperating.
So the match actually ends up, it's a pretty fun match overall. There's one part that I really liked where Shane Taylor, so he runs around the outside of the ring, think like Braun Breaker.
Mm-hmm.
And he does this jumping splash onto somebody on the floor. I don't remember who it is. But then he gets up and continues to run around the outside of the ring and knocks over everybody else on the opposing team outside the ring. And then, but at some point, so they all get in the ring, and there's like just a huge brawl in the middle of the ring. And during the big brawl, everybody puts on the Iron Claw from the Sons of Texas and the Von Erichs onto the Shane Taylor Promotion guys. And it's a group thing. Everybody does the Iron Claw at once. Eventually, Kevin Von Erich slides in the ring because him and Anthony Ogogo were having words back and forth throughout the match. He slides in. Anthony Ogogo comes in the ring. So Kevin Von Erich ends up putting him in the Iron Claw, which for those of you that don't know is Kevin's finishing move. From back when he wrestled, 150 years ago. And then... so everybody on the good guy's side has the Iron Claw on the bad guy's side, and I don't even know who were the legal men, but the ref finally counts 3 for whoever it is. It's an overbooked mess, which is a wrestling problem that I think is great at times, but this is not one of those. I know why they did it.
It is a huge problem with AEW in particular.
Right, and I know why they did it in this specific scenario, because again, Sons of Texas in the middle of Texas.
Sure,
I get it.
You gotta get the hometown boys over. You gotta make them look strong.
So it wasn't a bad match. Just not a fan of the way that it ended. There is one overbooked mess I actually did enjoy on this show, and we'll get to that way later. But for the most part, this was my problem with most pre-shows for AEW specifically. If I'm being honest, is it is an excuse for Tony to throw like 20 some odd people into 3 matches.
Hey man, you got them on the roster. You're paying them.
Right, and I love having pre-show matches, but I don't need everything to be a multi-man match.
Well, I got bad news for you.
Right, that's all they are. I know. But like I said, pretty decent match. And then 0 Hour match 2 was the Don Callis family, which was consisting of RPG Vice, Hechincero, and Lance Archer, and they were wrestling against the conglomeration, which was Hologram, Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii, and fucking Big Boom AJ. Listen, I, like you, am not a fan of celebrities being involved in wrestling as often as they are. I don't mind it from time to time. On the good note, at least Big Boom AJ only shows up like once a year.
Sure.
I will say the one thing I don't have a problem with this is this isn't a guy they had to train. This is a guy who was on the indie scene before he became famous for being a Costco guy. So he at least knows how to bump. He knows how to fucking terms. He knows how to do everything a wrestler is supposed to do. He's not impressive, but he's honestly not the worst person I've seen wrestle for AEW.
Yeah, the whole point of a celebrity is to go into a match and not be a liability. As long as they can go in and not be a liability, it's usually deemed pretty successful.
Right. And this match was actually pretty fun overall. The biggest thing that I loved is, at least for this match, I didn't have to hear Don Callis' voice because he didn't come out with everybody. Kevin O'Reilly acted an absolute fool on the way to the ring, doing all the Costco Rizzler shit. I give him props for that, not because I think it's good, but because he's willing to make himself look that dumb. As long as he's having fun, though. But he also probably, I mean, you got to think about it, too. He just heard that one of his best friends is probably, there's a chance they might not ever wrestle again. We'll see how all that goes. Famous people, where was I? Oh, this is one of the things I was talking about. So we'll talk about this again when we come back tomorrow for the Evolution and Saturday night's main event review. We got into a conversation right before we started recording where it was actually way earlier when we were talking about celebrities being involved in wrestling. And I brought up a point to you where I had said that the reason I don't mind it is so much is because ever since WrestleMania 1, celebrities have always been involved with wrestling. Thankfully, it doesn't happen all the time. It's just, with there being like 12 companies, it feels like...
We're getting there, man. It feels like every couple months.
It does. And Logan Paul, so like, it kind of hurts too with Logan Paul being involved because he's actually like a full-time wrestler now. And surprisingly actually sticking to being on a schedule with WWE instead of just showing up once every 3 months.
Full-time still a stretch, but I'll give you that. He is appearing much more frequently on TV.
He is way more full-time than their last, one of their last world champions who held the belt for 4 years.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Yeah, don't get me started on that.
But no, and again, like I said, would I have rather had somebody else there besides Big Boom? Absolutely. But, at least him being there, it's somebody who knows what they're doing. It's going to be interesting to see what Jelly Roll does at SummerSlam.
Oh, he said the name.
Yeah, I did.
But more to come on that tomorrow.
So, my notes I put, it's sad to think that this was a better match than the first one. But this was another match that was a lot of fun. There was a moment where one of the guys from RPG Vice, and I don't remember which one it was. But
either Trent Beretta or...
I think it's Trent Beretta. Trent Beretta's the one with the goatee, right? The big goatee?
No.
Bald guy with a goatee?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think his goatee was all that big.
Compared to what I can grow? Absolutely.
Well, yeah. Well, never
mind. But nah. So he pushed Big Justice down outside, picking on a little kid.
Yes, I saw the clip of that.
Which is funny because Big Justice was bigger than he is. And Big Justice ends up getting in the ring afterwards and spears. Was it the same guy? He speared one. I think it was. I think he speared Trent Beretta, and then That got Beretta out of the ring, and then Big Boom did his finisher, whatever it is, on the other guy, and ended up winning the match. But yeah, Conglomeration won again. You expected it, but this is where life started to I started to worry, right? Because we were 2 for 2 so far, where the faces won. And I definitely don't like a face-dominated pay-per-view card, because I typically root for the heels myself more than the faces. But at the same time, I really didn't want Mox to win. So I started already getting worried. I was like, oh, fuck. I can already see how this night's going. And we're not even on the main card yet.
Right.
0 Hour Match 3, which is the final match of the night, FTR versus the Outrunners, was actually the best match for the pre-show, which everybody knew it was going to be. These guys had a banger of a tag match.
Yes.
Was it
two skilled
Dynamite?
Two skilled teams. Was it Dynamite?
When they had their last tag match, when it was just the two of them. It was either Dynamite or Collision last week.
It was Dynamite.
But they had a banger of a tag match then, and I expected nothing different, and it was, dude. All right, go ahead and run with it.
Yeah, the two pros just getting their stuff in. Outrunners did well. Sold like crazy.
The Newport costumes were amazing. Also, ugly.
Yeah, that was all on Twitter. Yeah.
These were two of the best teams in AEW.
Yeah.
And FTR being, and I've said this to plenty of people, FTR is arguably the greatest tag team actively wrestling.
Yeah, I don't think it's even close. Honestly.
And they have been for 5 to 10 years. In fact, I think their biggest competition disappeared when Jay Briscoe passed away, if I'm being honest.
Well, the Bucks are up there, but I have my problems with the Bucks, which we'll talk about later.
Right. Now, the ending was a great end. FTR stole the victory.
Which is what heel tag teams do.
It was a little bit sloppy in its execution, but it didn't look super sloppy. It's not like you watch it and you're like, "Ah, they fucked that up." But it wasn't as smooth as I'm sure they wanted it to be. But it's live pro wrestling. It's not always going to be as smooth as you want things to be. I will say, dude, I thought for a second something was going on with that turnbuckle that's on TV in the bottom right hand corner. Because there were a couple times tonight where somebody slipped off of that motherfucker. And one of the times during this match specifically, it was Cash went to go do a clothesline off of the turnbuckle, and he ends up slipping and falling off of it. But he catches himself and manages to pull off whatever move he ends up doing.
Thankfully, they just went with it and continued on. Guy did the little power slam and kept on rolling.
Right. And those are the moves that always scare you because, like, botched wrestling moves obviously have some scare to them. But when somebody just slips off of something, like off of a turnbuckle or off of some steel steps or something, those ones always feel more scary because those are the ones where you try to basically catch yourself in a way that you're not used to. And that's usually, in my opinion, when an injury is more likely to happen.
Yeah, you can tell Cash was worried about missing his cue.
Right.
Because normally he does not climb the turnbuckle that quickly.
No.
So, I think he was afraid to miss his cue and cost him a little bit. But they recovered well and moved on.
Yeah, FTR wins. They get the stolen victory. Makes the Outrunners still look strong.
That it does. And then they can move on to bigger things, and the Outrunners can move on to their next thing.
And then we get to the main show, and we get the announcement that Jim Ross later on tonight was going to be coming out to be a commentator. They didn't say exactly when. They just said he'd be out later in the evening.
Yeah, he just knew it would be the main events.
Right. And it wasn't even all three of them. He just came out for the last two. He wasn't there for the women's, which is probably planned. He is such a hornball.
I would say so. He's not king, man. He's not going to be out there screaming about puppies and stuff.
No, but that man likes to like some things on Twitter that he shouldn't.
Hey, he's a warm-blooded man. So
we start off out the gate. World Trios Championship, Death Riders, which is Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and special guest Gabe Kidd, versus the Ops with Samoa Joe, Will Hobbs, and Katsuyori Shibata. One of the things that I've hated about this whole feud, ever since the beginning of it, and it sounds so petty, but you and I have talked about it briefly before, and I've always wanted to talk about it on camera, on mic, whatever you want to call it. I hate how this story has involved both Shibata and Yuta up to this point, and not once, until tonight, by the way, I caught it when they said it, but not once has there been a big fuss made or talk made about the fact that the two of them had an actual pretty decent back and forth for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship like 2.5 years ago.
It wasn't that long ago, but very long feud.
But it was a long feud that started because Shibata is the person that trained Yuta. So they had the whole he's trying to overcome his teacher story that often shows up in these things. And then they do mention them having the Ring of Honor feud during tonight's thing, but we also found out that apparently Shibata also helped train Gabe Kidd.
Yeah, in New Japan. It was that was when Shibata was hurt and didn't think he was going to be wrestling again.
So yeah, Shibata is just everywhere.
Everywhere.
Protege. Protege was the word I was looking for earlier. I actually wrote it down in my notes and then did not read that far.
Read your notes.
There was a funny moment when Yuta was in the corner, though. He was one of my favorite moments of the night. So he's in the corner. He's got his back to, I think it was Samoa Joe. He had his back in that corner. And Yuta was chopping against Hobbs' chest. And Hobbs looks at him like he's crazy, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you see Joe lift his hand and slap the shit out of Yuta's back, dude. And I swear it echoed so loudly in that ring. I love Joe. I'm a little sad. I didn't notice it if we did get it. I don't think we got a nope spot, which is my favorite thing Joe does.
No, we did not get a nope spot.
In fact, you know what the first nope spot I ever got to see was?
Which one?
The one he did to Punk at the All In. Punk's last time being wrestling in AEW.
That's the first nope spot you saw?
That is the first nope spot I ever saw.
Oh. There's a
great one, though.
There's a huge compilation on YouTube. You should go back and watch. It's awesome. I do have something to add. Can we agree that Rick Knox is the worst referee to ever referee a match?
Listen. The only good referee AEW has is Aubrey.
I disagree.
I don't know.
I disagree. I like some of the other ones, but I absolutely can't stand Rick Knox. He misses his spots. He's supposed to be preventing people from from coming in and stuff. He's missing. Hobbs kept coming into the ring to get his attention. He was missing those spots so the Death Riders could get the heat. It was just a mess at first. It kind of distracted from the match for me because it was just like they're trying to get heat to get this thing going, and dude is screwing up the whole thing.
So it does throughout the match. It does look like they're setting up Gabe versus Joe at some point. The two of them were jawing back and forth a lot, and if you remember at the beginning of the match, Gabe was ducking Joe a lot.
He would. So I'm glad you said that because Gabe Kidd came out like hype as hell. He'd be hype, and then he would disappear for long periods of time. Then he would come back and he'd be hype, and then he would disappear.
Yes. And I am pretty sure it's because they're setting up a Gabe versus Samoa Joe match, which I do want to see. Don't get me wrong.
I agree. I would be down for that.
But yeah, and then let me tell you what the fucking move of the night, or not the night.
I already
of
know
this
what you're
match.
gonna say.
The Doomsday device.
Yeah.
Where Hobbs hits that power slam. I have never seen that in wrestling before, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
It was perfect.
It was perfect. It was good. It was really good.
And then yeah, so Ops ends up winning. Joe gets the muscle buster on Yuta after a series of moves that takes everyone else out of the match. They do the typical.
Yeah, it was really quick.
They do the typical. Everybody comes in, does their finisher to somebody, and eventually gets rid of everybody. It ends with Joe getting muscle buster on Yuta. I ended up putting great fucking match with most of the match with a post match, because I can't spell, a post match beatdown from Death Riders to the Ops, which was expected. They took Joe out basically in order to keep him from helping Hangman and them later. I was surprised none of the other Ops came out, though, if I'm being honest. Why do you need Joe to help?
He's the leader, man.
But that's a conversation for later.
Yeah, I liked the match. I wasn't as high on it as you. A lot of the stuff at the beginning of the match where, I don't know, they just took their sweet time. It seemed like things were kind of off to a little bit of a weird start for him. Knox missing a bunch of stuff, kind of threw off the rhythm. They salvaged it by the end, but I wouldn't say it was great by any stretch.
I would like to say I love that they finally found something good for Hobbs to do. I was so miserable when they did the really weird back and forth between him and who was the other guy a long ass time? The dude, the other big dude that used to go for the TNT championship.
Termin Wardlow.
There was this weird like back and forth between the two of them about a year and a half ago.
You mean when they misbooked both of them, and now both of them are Hobbs is on a team, and then Wardlow is, I don't know if he's still hurt or where he's at, but they missed the boat on both of them. Both of them were getting over, and they did nothing. And they were like, hey, let's push an XWE guy instead.
I'm gonna be honest about the whole thing though. So I do think wrong name. I do think Taz's son, Hook. I do think Hook getting injured is the best thing that could have happened to Hobbs. I hate that it happened to Hook, don't get me wrong, but it gave them a chance to put Hobbs in the middle of this, because I think Hobbs actually fits that team better than Hook did anyways. But I also have a dislike for Hook that everyone else no one has.
Hook was being booked as Joe's protege, so there's that word again, protege.
Right. Hook bores the shit out of me.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the wannabe Final Fantasy hair, or the little guy doing suplexes not near as good as his little guy dad doing suplexes.
Is that
a combination of all of it? Because he doesn't even fit the same mold that the other flippy guys do. He does this. I don't know. Hook is the most.
He's a grounded wrestler. He's like a grounded technical wrestler.
But he doesn't have the size for it.
Neither does Adam Cole, but Adam Cole lifts people up that.
No. My problem isn't little guys suplexing big guys. My problem is that is Hook's whole thing. His whole thing is about he's his dad, or
throwing people around. Yeah.
And at least when Taz did it, he was a stocky little dude, right? Hook don't even have that going.
Tank. He's still young. He's got some time to put some weight on. Him and Nick Wayne need to go to the buffet and put some weight on.
No, Nick definitely does. Or Nick needs to settle down into some light heavyweight stuff. But
I digress.
Moving on. After Joe gets taken on a stretcher, we start the second match of the night, which is the men's casino gauntlet, which I popped so.
Boy, this match was long.
See, I didn't get that same feeling. I got excited so often in this match, even though I knew who was going to win. This is, I will say this. So, in terms of order of entrance, so obviously we start off with Mark Briscoe and MJF.
Mm-hmm.
Ricochet comes in number 3, which I popped for because I love me some Ricochet.
I did like Ricochet's work in this match.
Bandito came out. I like Bandito, and apparently him and Takeshita put on a banger of a match at Supercard of Honor. And I'm not saying that because that's what the announcers said. A lot of people on Twitter,
and I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, a lot of people on Twitter were like, "No, they fucking brought the house down." So I want to see that match at some point as well.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that early tomorrow.
Takeshita
before Evolution
came out after that.
Takeshita.
Now my problem.
You hating on Takeshita, man?
I'm not actually. I love Takeshita. He's one of my favorites in AEW. In fact, I wrote down Takeshita, and in parentheses I put who I want to win.
He's like one of the only people that they've booked and actually made a star out of.
Yes. My problem with the men's Casino Gauntlet match and the women's Casino Gauntlet match this year specifically, I don't remember it happening the last time either of these things happened. I really feel like, depending on what was going on in the match, it was really predictable to tell who was coming out next. Because when Ricochet was out, I didn't know Ricochet was going to be the third one. I will say that. Ricochet coming out, I was like, okay, cool, Ricochet came out. But the moment Bandito comes out,
mm-hmm.
After Bandito comes out, I go, oh, so Takeshita's going to be the next one. And of course, Takeshita comes out. All of a sudden, at that point, MJF starts trying to rip off Bandito's match, and I was like, well, I guess Mystico's on his way next. Timer clicks on, here comes Mystico. And I'm like, God damn it, Tony, can at least make it somewhat not predictable.
That's wrestling, brother.
It slows down for a few of them. Josh Alexander, who I didn't even know was in the match, comes out.
I'll be honest, I didn't know he was in it either. But I like Josh Alexander, so I'll allow it.
I would like him more if they stopped using him as just a background character.
He is a bit of a background character in the Don Callis family. I'll give you that.
Anthony Bowens comes out next, which is and of course this it starts to get treated like a Royal Rumble as each next person came out. They would come in and hit a bunch of high spots on people that were around, and then they would kind of
come in and run wild,
fall into line with things. So Anthony Bowens comes out. Anthony Bowens actually looked really good for the little bit that he got his high spot run going. Roderick Strong comes out, who impresses me each time I see him in the ring.
I love me some Roddy Strong, and always have.
I never have up until about
Roddy Strong and ROH. Love me some ROH Roddy Strong.
It was probably within the last 2 to 3 years that I've really started to finally grow an appreciation for him. I hated him in NXT.
You didn't like him when he was with Adam Cole?
No. And I don't know what it was. I don't know why. I feel like he never personally stood out to me. He is the issue I've had with the way you have issues with others. He just didn't stand out to me. And I started to.
He can be a little bland. I get you.
I also started to have an issue with the Adam segments.
Adam.
Although he pulled some of that later on in this match, which was hilarious, and we'll get to that shortly.
He got that so over though.
He did. So number 10, who then became the next person who I wanted to win, Brody King comes out. And I want them to push Brody to the moon.
He was so underutilized. He had his little 4-corner cannonball spot, and that's about like all he got the entire match.
Yeah, I love Brody King. He's probably probably the best big man they've got.
Yeah, I like Mr. Brody King.
I love.
He has gotten so misused.
I love that whole stable. It's just unfortunately, Buddy keeps getting hurt.
Okay, Buddy just got hurt a little bit ago. They were not used while Aleister Black was there for almost the entire time Aleister Black was there.
Yeah, they got the trios title for a while, and then That was actually a
but
really
it was
cool
like
moment.
it was like they were standing in line and like, all right, well, who's the next set of 3 people that haven't got the title yet? Oh, your turn. Step on up.
Right. I actually liked that though because it was like they were just beating everybody until they didn't. And then
They lost it very unceremoniously.
right. And then of course Black left to go back to WWE. They ran the angle where Ospreay was telling everybody they didn't need a leader, which was really weird. A weird thing to have to see on TV, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why they did it. It sucks when the leader of your stable decides to dip out, and now he's being, in my opinion, underused in WWE again. They're finally starting to push him a little bit with everything going on. We'll get into that when we get to WWE stuff. That shit don't matter.
Plus, he's on SmackDown, and who wants to watch SmackDown?
I want to, I just can't.
I have the ability to, and I have a hard time getting.
But no, so yeah, so Brody King comes out, and then I got hyped, and then sad because the next entrant was Juice Robinson, and I was like, he's back. And then I was like, oh my god, he's ugly.
Hey man, don't be talking about Tony Storm's husband.
How did he pull her, bro? He's got to have a fucking thing on him because this dude.
Jeez.
This dude looks like he looks like the caveman from the caveman commercials from Geico.
He does need the beard back. He could have trimmed the beard. Because at first, if it wouldn't have said Juice Robinson behind him, if that would have just walked out and
I'd have thought it was Ezekiel.
I would have been like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I don't remember what he looked like when he was like CJ Parker, whatever he was at NXT. That was too long ago. Right. So I don't remember what fresh-faced Juice looks like. He came out, freaked me out. I didn't like his gear either. His gear was very boring.
Right.
And I was just like nothing that made him stand out as Juice Robinson before he was hurt was on display here. So I was so confused.
Other than his psychotic fucking eyes.
Yeah, but I'm glad he's back. Love me some Juice Robinson. Hopefully they'll do something with him.
Right. And one of the cool things about Juice coming back too, so he came out and then he came out, did some stuff, got some moves in like everybody else did. And then all of a sudden the Gates of Agony came in and started fucking him up. And then all of a sudden, guess who else came back? Bang Bang. The Guns come back.
The Guns are back.
And I'm so excited because I've missed them bastards. I used to hate them so much, but they grew on me.
Well, they were purposely supposed to be annoying. So, yeah.
Which is obviously. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they're obviously setting up Bullet Club Gold versus Gates of Agony and Ricochet.
Yes, should be good.
A good couple of trios that can also be involved in the trios titles down the line as well.
I mean, you got belts. You may as well utilize some trios.
One of the things I did miss.
Your favorite.
Well, one of the things I did miss talking about that I wanted to talk about. A couple things. So there's a moment when Mystico came in where they were overplaying his music and he was going around cheering in the ring, and you hear on commentary MVP go, "Don't let him do all that bullshit. Just whoop his ass."
Aside from that, MVP added nothing to commentary.
No.
Also, commentary for this show was awful.
Until Taz, I hated it until Taz got involved, dude. I love Taz.
Taz was great.
But even Jim Ross was struggling at times, dude. And I was like, oh, get him off TV right now, please.
I will take a disinterested JR over a Tony Schiavone 100 times. Tony Schiavone is just a mocking. Somebody says something and he just repeats the thing. And it's just like, go away. Where did Nigel disappear to?
Nigel left around the time Taz came in.
Why can't it just be Nigel, Taz, and Excalibur? Why do we have to suffer through Tony Schiavone, who
here's the
literally
thing.
brings nothing to the table?
I love Tony. I'm not a fan of his commentary though. I wish he did more just backstage interviews like he used to back in the 80s.
Oh, I don't dislike Tony Schiavone the person.
Right.
But his commentary is awful.
The only time I truly enjoy Tony Schiavone commentary is when him, Taz, and Excalibur start making fun of each other.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot. It didn't happen enough on this show, but it usually happens a lot. And then there's a time when Bowens comes in. He does his thing. And then at some point, Takeshita and Alexander almost corner him, and he yells as loud as he can through the entire arena. He's like, you and you can suck my fucking dick. And he does the suck it sign. And then they blast him.
Yeah, that mic near the ring caught a lot of things tonight.
Yes, it did.
A lot of things.
So, after Juice comes out, number 12, Kota Ibushi comes in. I didn't even know he was going to be involved in the match, so I was happy to see him. And he didn't look like, again, this is at least 2 showings in a row where he didn't look bad. Thankfully, because he had like 4 or 5 showings in a row before he got injured where he looked absolutely terrible.
To be fair,
all he did was kick people.
A lot either. Yeah. No. I literally, my notes say, Ibushi out next, kicking everybody.
Yeah.
And that's literally all I wrote.
He kicked everybody.
Literally all I wrote. He kicked everyone. Yes, he did.
And then number 13 is Beast Mortos, who came out with my favorite mask he's had so far.
Yeah, Mr. Monet out next.
And he had him a little run. And then, dude, I swear to God. So the very last thing that number 14, it says Max Caster, and I said,
Platinum Max Caster.
I put in my notes, oh no, he's going to quickly eat the pin by MJF, isn't he? Like, I thought he was going to come out, and then as soon as he got in the ring, was going to get rolled up for the 1, 2, 3. Like, that's what I thought was going to happen. And then they did that weird thing where he was like standing over Bowens.
Yep.
Where I'm like, are they going to set up a feud between these two, or maybe they're hinting at an idea of bringing them back together? I hope not.
No, they're going to feud. They've already feuded.
Right, but Bowens beat him in less than 3 minutes, so I don't know what the fuck they can do.
It's just, hey, remember this thing? We used to be in a group, but now we're not. We don't like each other.
So the way the match ends up ending, though, Jay Briscoe gets the Jay Driller on Roderick Strong. MJF sneaks in, throws Jay out, and then gets the pin on Roderick.
Sloppily throws him out.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
He was tripping over the guy he pinned. Trying to throw him out.
I struggle with the way this match is. Obviously, we knew, you and I had talked a couple nights ago. I had a feeling MJF, too many damn 3-letter initial people.
Acronyms, man.
I knew MJF was going to win. The writing was on the wall. But, like, I feel like MJF's the one person in this match that doesn't need something like this to get a title shot.
Well, they've got to have a next opponent for the person who wins the main event. And it has to be a heel.
Absolutely. But if you're going to go with a heel, I would have preferred...
Name another heel in this match.
Takeshita. And I think Takeshita, and it's one of those things where you don't even need who wins this match to be the next person up, because they're playing these matches like Money in the Bank. You get a future contract. It doesn't say when you're going to get it, and they get to carry the contracts around. I'm guessing it's the exact same thing Christian used to end up losing earlier this year.
I hope they're not carrying that thing around on that weird metal clipboard for weeks and weeks and weeks.
In fact, my original predictions, which none of them ended up panning out, were because I thought Athena was going to win the women's thing, which, you know, as we'll get to later, I was right about on that. But I thought Monet was going to win, and Athena would come in and cash in and beat Monet.
When Athena, spoilers by the way, before we get to that match, when Athena won, I literally looked at Kristen and said, "Oh shit, that means fucking Banks is going over." Or Monet, my apologies.
Right.
I was like, "Oh great, Monet's going over."
And that's what I thought, because I want to see another match between the two of them any damn ways, personally. They killed it the last time they were in a ring together.
I'm not mad about that, but I really like the work that Toni Storm is doing.
Oh, I do too. But I've liked what Tony's been doing for the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's amazing.
Even if it's, 70% gimmick. It's a very good gimmick. Overall, I thought the match was a bit underwhelming, predictable. Do you want to tell the audience what your prediction you told me was going to be for this match? Do you remember what you told me?
I don't.
You told me you thought that MJF was going to pin somebody right as Bowens was coming out.
Yeah, I was hoping MJF, if he was going to win, I was hoping he was going to get the pin right as Bowens was coming out, so that Bowens didn't have a chance to even do anything. And I thought that would have been funny, and it could have been a chance for Bowens to like snap and go heel, because I think that's what Bowens really needs. But yeah, it didn't happen. Bowens actually, obviously, I mean, 7 more people came out after him.
Well, a few.
6. I was almost right. I guessed it off the top of my head. It was 6 more people came out after him. After that, we get the only like backstage segment that happens in the entire pay-per-view, which
Stokely,
which is Big Stoke announces FTR is going to be at the desk with the commentators for the tag title match, and basically calls next.
And they were great on commentary, but we'll talk more about that.
Yeah, they were
during the match. They were the best part of commentary all night.
Oh, Shivani, we know we're just playing with you. Great times. Match 3, title match, TNT title match, impromptu, impromptly changed. Kyle Fletcher versus Dustin Rhodes versus Daniel Garcia versus Sammy Guevara. So, first thing that happens though, Adam Cole's music hits. He comes out with the TNT title. I didn't think they would do this. I was expecting the title just to be at the ring, ready to go. I actually thought it was really cool seeing him come out, but you could see he was devastated.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it has to do with his concussion situation, because he didn't look gimpy at all.
Not at all. Like, so, and that's one of the things we'll touch on. He does come out. He says he thanks the fans just in case this is the last time he's ever going to be able to wrestle. He did say he's obviously not going to throw out the word retirement, but just in case it is the last time.
Yeah, and Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong were out there ringside.
Yeah.
So you knew it was something pretty serious.
They come out. They do the group hug. Adam Cole does his Adam Cole Bebe taunt before he leaves with his buddies. And I'm not going to lie, I almost got emotional myself, and I'm not even a big Adam Cole fan.
So, I know what they were trying to do, but I wish they would have waited till Dynamite to do it, because it made everybody big sad and just killed this match. It overshadowed the entire match. It just killed the match.
And I also feel like that's going to play into why they chose who won to win. As far as the audience goes.
That's fair.
I feel like they hit everybody with the downer, and I feel like that was probably Cole's call. He probably asked Tony to be able to do it. Tony obviously is going to say no.
The Victor, it came across like such...
My problem is not telling us what's wrong. Like,
well,
obviously it's not a broken bone issue. It's not because I thought maybe what happened was when he hit the tequila sunrise, whatever, the Panama Sunrise, not alcoholic. When he hit the Panama Sunrise the night or the Thursday during Collision. I was like, well, maybe he fucked up his ankle again, because I'm also still wondering why he ever chose that as a finisher to continue doing after ankle surgery.
Well, he didn't get hurt doing that. He got hurt jumping off a giant stage.
Oh, I know.
That he probably shouldn't have jumped off of,
But I thought that maybe have been what it was when I heard the announcement. But then, yeah, he comes out. He looks physically perfectly fine.
Yeah, he looks like he's been trying hard in the gym, and he was in good shape,
and
like he was ready for this push to keep on going, and not so much.
Yeah, he basically hands over the title and he's gone. And now I'm just like, I wonder how long it's going to be before we actually find out what is wrong. And I'm sure we'll find out at some point this week. Sean Ross Sapp will probably get the info.
Let's say the dirt sheets will have something. Sean will talk to somebody. Dave will talk to somebody.
I'm hoping best case scenario, it's something he can come back from.
Like I said, I'm worried it's due to concussion.
I don't want it to be concussion related because he didn't look like he got one. Like there was never a moment during Collision where I felt like.
Well, that's the thing with post-concussion syndrome, though. That stuff comes and goes.
Right. But on the flip side, I hope it's not something super serious either. Like, and obviously, if it's something that's forcing him to think about retirement, it's serious. But when I mean super serious, I'm hoping it's not whatever the fuck it was that kicked Keith Lee out of wrestling. I'm hoping it's not something like cancer or something like that. Like, I'm hoping that it's something.
Yeah, he was big sad.
Yeah,
he was clearly upset. It's just speculation right now, but clearly it's something that is very, very serious.
So then Garcia comes out. He's the first person to come out. He stops and talks to Cole for like 30 seconds. Words of encouragement, I'm sure. Yep. Cole goes to the back. Garcia makes the rest of his entrance. And then everybody else comes out. I only mentioned that one specifically because of him stopping to talk with Cole. But yeah, everybody eventually makes their way out to the ring.
Yeah, Garcia came out with his entourage.
And
why can I not think of the guy's name?
This is where there's two specific times I'm going to talk about selling and when I have an issue with it being overly done.
Okay. My feelings on selling. I like some selling.
I like some selling too. This one is more of a smaller nitpick thing. I didn't like that. Like Dustin spent like 10 minutes in the corner. Minor exaggeration. It was like 3 minutes in the corner, 3 to 5 minutes, just laying there selling this knee injury that he obviously didn't have. And then he pops right back up and he's like, "Oh hey, Canadian Destroyer."
Yeah.
And it's an old school tactic which, when used right, can push a match forward.
Yes.
This is one of those times, though, where like he legit laid in the corner while everyone else was wrestling around him. And then you're like, oh, maybe he is hurt. But then he just pops up and he pops up and immediately does a Canadian Destroyer. And I'm like, the fuck?
So this match had weird vibes anyways. There was a weird dynamic from the jump because it's 3 baby faces. 2 from that area.
And a tag team.
And a tag team against 1 heel.
And you and I talked before. I would have preferred them to put Ricochet in this match. Take Dustin out.
Agreed.
Put Ricochet in. And then all of a sudden you've got 3 quick, athletic, evenly split, two heels, 2 faces.
Even if you didn't want to use Ricochet because Ricochet was already booked. Where's Jay Lethal?
Or somebody else mentioned Scorpio Sky. Put Scorpio in this match. Scorpio's actually got history with the TNT Championship.
But that would have taken away from the eventual winning. So,
but with that being said, obviously, and here's the thing. There are a couple reasons I am not mad about Dustin Rhodes winning. The first one, it gives the feel-good moment to cap a very sad moment that had just previously happened. And again, it's a home state thing. It's not going to hurt the TNT title for Dustin, who's never had a singles championship in AEW, who was gunning for the world championship he was never going to get. None of us were that naive to think he was ever going to win it.
It's just so sudden and out of nowhere.
I think the
crowd was absolutely dead for this match
until he won.
Like, even then, it was kind of just like mixed. Like oh, 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 clap.
Right.
Oh, I didn't expect that. It was very strange.
I'm
But
I'm expecting the Fletcher
big
Fletcher to
props.
I'm expecting Fletcher to win it from him in the next 2 weeks, anyways.
Yeah, but do you do that on the Dynamite so Fletcher can move on to something meaningful, or do you wait to do it at all out?
I would do it on a Dynamite or or
I agree.
or Collision. Um,
I
I
I agree. But
I
then you're
lo-
kind of just trivializing Dustin's thing, which it's going to be
right.
trivialized anyway, probably. But
Well,
I would have rather Fletcher just win since he was
I
originally booked in the match anyways.
yes and no. I did like to see Dustin Rhodes getting emotional with the championship. Like I thought it was a cool moment for him because the dude has been handed shit his whole life in terms of being a wrestler. Like Vince mistreated him as Gold Dust for how many years?
He had a good run. Early Gold Dust was super over, and he had a pretty good run. Now, he was never world heavyweight champion
No. But
there,
he
but that was also kind of Vince getting back at Dusty, too, because Dusty counter booked his program.
right, and then he went to WCW to do whatever that weird shit was, where he was in all black face paint for a night.
That was when he was having a rough go with life because he went there to did it was Rain. I think Rain was the name of that thing.
Yeah,
And then he got bounced from there, and then he had that weird, somewhat similar gimmick in TNA, where he was just completely out of shape and really probably on some shit.
right.
And
So, am I mad that he won a singles title? No. Do I think it's going to hurt any
no,
prestige this title has for him to hold it for a couple
no,
weeks and then lose it? No. The
it's just
TNT the TNT title's already cursed anyways.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Um, so honestly, the prestige can only go up from here. Dustin can have it for a couple weeks. I don't want to see a long trio style type reign like he has in Ring of Honor. I don't want to see him hold on to that motherfucker for 6 months. The dude can't cut a good promo anymore.
Well, it's just
He can wrestle still. Yeah. He's not the worst 60-year-old I've seen in a ring.
Not by any means. He's in like the best shape he's been in ever, probably.
Right.
Maybe when he was young in WCW, working with his dad. Early Gold Dust, he was in good shape for as well. But like, yeah, that was 30 years ago.
But yeah, so that ends that. We get to match 4, which is the match you were super excited for, I know.
Hey, this is the first one that I have a great match attached to it. So.
This is also, after this match was over, was when I messaged you and said this might have been the best modern tag team match I've seen.
Hey, you're wrong, but that's okay. You can have your feelings. What'd you think of the AC intro?
Oh, I popped. I popped
for that wonderful corporate tie-in to Ubisoft.
I loved it. Because if there's anybody that ever should have an AC style intro, it's Ospreay. I mean, the motherfucker's got the symbol tattooed on his arm. You don't. In fact, I was wearing my Assassin's Creed hat for tonight.
So a couple things popped me during the intro. The Assassin's Creed thing I thought was quickly pandering, so I was kind of like I rolled for that. But the Young Bucks coming out and then doing the ship thing
was amazing.
Where Justin Roberts is reading from a scroll in the ring was funny. And then Taz, I don't know if you called it, Taz on commentary said that this he said this entrance is taking forever. Yeah, he's like, this entrance is long.
Yeah.
I popped for Taz saying that. That was great. I was like, yeah, Taz. Tell him how you really mean.
I also liked that JoJo Offerman came out and sung for the beginning of Swerve's entrance. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, people were shitting on that on Twitter, by the way. Grow up, people. What the hell's your problem?
Yeah.
This lady's trying to raise some kids. And they were saying, like, Lillian Garcia would have performed a better thing.
I thought she did fine. I had no complaints with her singing at all.
that type of song, come on, like, come on.
In fact, in all caps, I said, Osprey gets an Assassin's Creed intro. Let's fucking go.
Yeah,
Even gets the AC logo on his pants and in the Titantron.
yeah. Well, AEW likes to team up with video game companies, so
that is true.
they can't produce a video game, but they can collaborate.
I that's true. I loved the Bucks entrance.
I did too. It was
appropriate because they're considering themselves the founding fathers.
It was great.
And obviously coming out on the ship the entire night, I kept thinking something terrible was going to happen to somebody in a random place. So my time this time was like, man, I hope one of the Bucks don't fall off this fucking ship. It's like 15 feet in the air.
I wish Swerve and Osprey would have rode it back to the back. Like, yeah, we're the EVPs now, and rode it back to the back.
And dude, there was at one point where one of the commentators in the night said something like, yeah, the stadium has never had this much weight hanging off the ceiling, dude, and I swear to God, my mind went, please don't fall in the middle of the ring. Please don't drop all these TVs on somebody wrestling. I don't want to see that shit.
Because it is a baseball stadium, and you can't hang things over the field of play because that defeats the purpose, because a ball may hit it. So that was a stupid thing to say anyways.
So yeah, I was like,
Excalibur, by the way.
I went into panic mode for the entire rest of the show because of it.
Yeah, because they kept panning back and showing the big, the structure that was hanging there. Yeah. Hope those cables are strong
enough. So, one of the things I did write, there's one sequence where the Bucks, Osprey, and Swerve are going back and forth. And it was really cool how it happened because Swerve wasn't actually involved in that moment yet. It was Osprey kind of going against the Bucks himself, and then Swerve sneaks into the ring, and it was like this combination of things that were going on between the four of them, where people were reversing, and for once it didn't look overly choreographed. It looked like people were just doing a really good job of getting getting hit. Usually when the Bucks are involved with something like this, it looks overly choreographed.
Yes, which is my biggest problem with the Bucks.
But for once, it did legit look like people were just missing things. And then the good guys reverse a couple of Canadian destroyers. They flip out of them as they go to happen and hit them with the house call and the hidden blade at the same time.
Yep.
And I was like, dude, epic fucking spot. And then a very short time later, both of them hit Styles Clashes on the Bucks, which was pretty cool.
Yep.
I never need to see Swerve use that move ever again, but it was cool for this match. It's just one of those moves I don't want to see a bunch of people do. AJ doing it, obviously, he created the fucking move. It is what it is. I don't mind.
Logan Paul's doing it. Osprey does it.
I don't mind.
It's getting overly used.
I don't mind Osprey doing it because AJ gave him permission to use it.
Yeah, well, anything Logan Paul does,
and Logan just steals everybody else's
purposes.
It was
Logan for purposes.
Yeah. Then there was one part where Swerve does the Swerve Stomp into the Stormbreaker, which they did on Dynamite as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which I actually think if the two of them ever wanted to go for tag titles, that would be a hell of a finishing move.
Yeah, they looked like when they did their double team moves, they looked very together with it, very cohesive. But they're two of the top wrestlers in the world, so
yeah,
what's there to expect, right?
One of the things I also loved and I want to see more of in wrestling is Prince Nana got super kicked at one point. I don't necessarily want to see Prince Nana keep getting super kicked when I say I want to see more of that in wrestling. I want to see more managers getting wiped the fuck out.
I would just like to see more managers.
Yeah.
Managers and valets are important.
Swerve takes Swerve takes a TK driver outside the ring, which was pretty cool. Matt Jackson hit a hidden blade on Osprey that actually looked really good.
Yeah, it did. It did look good.
And then they hit their quote unquote bang for your buck tag team combo that they do.
More bang for your buck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
lots
then
of false finishes. Lots of false finishes.
which was expected because of who it is. That and
So
it's AEW.
they did one too many.
I
They
believe.
did one too many.
I agree as well.
But the crowd finally woke up. The crowd was totally awake and into this match.
Oh yeah.
It's like the first time of the night where you could actually see the crowd making a difference.
Right. So then, there's a hidden blade that Ospreay goes to do, and he misses one of the Jacksons and clears. Swerve.
I was about to say, is that the one where he took out Swerve?
Nailed him, dude. And I'm not gonna lie. I was like, well, here we go. This is how they're losing, because I went into this thinking Swerve and Ospreay were losing.
I did too.
Because I thought them losing would allow other people to be in the world title picture for the next year, until Ospreay inevitably probably wins the next Owen Hart tournament to get the title shot at next year's All In.
It's a good thing they didn't, because if they do plan to circle back to Swerve and Hangman, they don't have that year-long gap hanging over their head.
Right. But yeah, so he takes out Swerve by accident. Ospreay gets another TK driver, kicks out. Took a couple EVP triggers, kicked out. They started doing the super kick party to Ospreay as Swerve crawls in front of him, like Ospreay did when they had Swerve handcuffed to the ropes several weeks ago on Dynamite.
Yep. It's good stuff.
Good fun callback. And then all of a sudden he catches their legs when they go to do the EVP trigger to him. They managed to turn this into, again, house call, hidden blade combo, but on one of the Bucks. It wasn't before when they did it. They both just did it to both the Bucks, but one of the Bucks got sent out. I can never remember which one's which, by the way.
I think they did it to Matt. I think Nick got sent out, because I think, if I remember correctly, Nick was helping Matt to the back at the end.
Right. But yeah, they hit him with the combo of the house call and hidden blade, and they got the win. And I was surprised, and I liked the call. So here's the thing: I would have liked the call either way, because we've talked about this before. I don't mind having the landscape open for other people to be involved in the world title hunt.
No, because they got a bunch of top guys.
Right.
If you can get Joe away from the ops, he's been world champion.
Yep.
Eventually, Lashley and Shelton are going to lose the tag title, so you can have Lashley or Shelton. I've always been a big fan of Shelton Benjamin.
I actually thought tonight was going to be the night, but it didn't happen.
Well, no, they had to set up the reunion.
There's a reason. But there's a reason, and I'll get there when we get there.
Yeah. So,
but yeah,
they've got plenty of top guys.
But at the same time, them winning, we can finally get away from the stupid EVP thing. Kenny Omega doesn't use it.
They go away for a while and come back with something else.
Right. But Kenny Omega didn't hold on to the EVP thing. I think he only flexed his EVP muscles once, and it was to fuck over the Bucks like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, it was when they were feuding when Kenny first came back.
Right. And then, but yeah, we don't have to worry about the EVP stuff. The Bucks can disappear for a little bit. Like you said, I don't think they're going to be gone for as long as I'm sure you would like. I don't.
So So there's this misconception, because my wife gets on me about it as well. I don't dislike the Jacksons. I used to actually like them quite a bit. The only thing that I don't like about them is, if you've seen, they don't diversify their niches enough. A Young Bucks match is a Young Bucks match.
Right.
The only time they like show any kind of versatility, when they were feuding with FTR, those matches were different. When they feud with other teams, top teams like that, they're able to wrestle different styles. They just need to do that a little more often.
Right.
But all their matches are the same. It's super kick party, bang for your buck, and yeah, I get it. Everybody has their 7 moves, the 5 moves of doom.
I was gonna say all of our favorite wrestlers did. Rock, Austin,
Right. But
all the
it's
tag
just,
teams. I mean, you can go
because
back to '80s tag teams and be like, oh man.
sure. But because their stuff is so heavily choreographed, it brings it down to me. And
Right.
I don't know why. It just started irking me. My wife says it's because I'm a Punk fan and I've hated him since the Punk and them situation, which I will deny. But yeah, I used to like them quite a bit.
We've talked about this before. I'm an old school Generation Me fan. Back when I did watch TNA, back when they were, still had the 6-sided ring or 5-sided. Was it 5-sided or 6-sided?
It was, well, I hope it wasn't 5 sides because that's an odd number. It was 6-sided.
Okay. In fact, I stopped watching TNA when they switched to a regular ring because that's what I loved about TNA. It made it unique.
You didn't like the Hulk Hogan era of TNA?
The Hogan Bischoff era? No, I did not.
Did that not do it for you, brother?
No, and in fact, it ruined it for me. Like I said, that's when I stopped watching TNA. I was watching that episode, and the camera comes on, and it's a square ring, and I was like, "The fuck is this?" And then all of a sudden, Hogan's music plays, and him and Bischoff come out, and I'm like, "What are we doing?"
So, yes, that part of it is terrible, and I get that the 6-sided ring made them unique. But if you listen to any of the stories from anybody who had to take bumps in that ring,
the wrestlers hated it.
They were so glad to go back to 4 sides.
But you know what? I don't care that the wrestlers hated it. My selfishness at that time loved that it was unique for something that no one else was doing.
They still could have been unique.
They could have figured something out.
I understand. They still had unique talent.
No, they definitely did.
I miss old TNA.
And for those of you that don't know, I'm joking about the wrestlers thing. I'm glad they got into a much safer situation. I know they hated taking bumps on that ring. I loved the uniqueness as a teenager.
Kill yourself for my enjoyment.
No.
My entertainment.
I have said this.
Are you not entertained?
I have said this to Joe before. I do not encourage people to go hurt themselves for my entertainment. But if they choose to do that, I'm not one to stop them.
He's not wrong.
If people want to bleed all over the mat, I'm all for it.
We'll get into that.
But yeah, so the next match, the Superior Women's Gauntlet or Casino Gauntlet was the Women's Gauntlet. I only use the term.
Was it?
I think it was actually about on par, if I'm being honest. It had more surprises in terms of people I didn't expect to be in it. But that's only because they didn't keep showing a graphic of everybody they expected to be in it. Okay. Anytime they announced they showed the women's gauntlet thing, it was just a picture of the number 1 and number 2, so Chris and Megan Bane. I don't know why I called her Bane. It was always their picture, and it was like women's casino gauntlet. But the men's, it was like 15 people. And you're like, well,
Does that mean I get to call my dog Bane now too?
I mean, you can.
My dog's name is Bane.
Megan Bane, so Chris comes out. Chris is Chris. It is what it is. Megan Bane comes out, though, to one of my favorite entrances of the night. There's something about her entrance and the way it was set up in that arena that actually made her look important.
Dude, they're trying to push her to the moon, dude.
And they should. She's good.
She's their new Jade Corgan.
But better.
Except she can work.
She can actually wrestle.
Nothing against Jade. I like her husband a tremendous amount.
Everything from me against Jade about her wrestling. I like her personality. I like her as a superstar figure.
Uh-huh.
I don't like her in-ring work.
She's got the look. She just needs to be a little more seasoned. She'll get there.
I hope so. But yeah, so Megan Bane comes out looking super important. But immediately, dude, we go right back. Oh, we'll get there in a second. So they start the match off with a test of strength, and I loved it. Because it's
what? An old school wrestling thing? You loved?
Well, yeah, it works because they're the two biggest women, and I mean that in a stature way. Because obviously Willow or I guess Nyla Rose is probably the biggest woman out of all of them.
But the strong one started the match, like you said, because
Right.
out after that is another strong. But go ahead.
But yeah, so we get a test of strength that it didn't last long, but I was super stoked to see that it actually was used. And then, of course, this is where I start to have a problem with the Casino Gauntlet again, because it's predictable. I'm like, oh, well, if it's Chris and Megan, I bet Willow's probably going to be the third one to come out. And sure enough, and I swear, in my notes, I put Willow Nightingale and in parentheses, who will probably win, much to my dismay.
Hey, you were wrong.
I was. In fact, we'll get there. Willow, here's my thing. I like Willow. Before anybody's like, oh, you hate her because she's a face, or you hate her because she's big. No. I like Willow.
Willow's great.
I don't like how safe of a pick for her to win is.
Yeah. I can understand that.
So, and then Ty Mello comes out, who I hate the way her name is spelled because I want to pronounce it Tay.
I really am not a big fan of Ty Mello.
I am not either, but she's got a kid to feed, so I understand why she's wrestling again.
No, make your living. I just don't like her style. It doesn't mesh with me.
By the end of this, remind me, there are two names I specifically wanted to see pop up in this thing that did not, that bummed me out.
Okay.
After Ty Mello came out, there was a point where Harley Cameron comes in and helps Ty Mello. I popped, but I popped for the wrong reason. I popped because I thought it was Bunny.
I did the same thing. I said, "Who the fuck is that? Is that Bunny? Is Bunny back?"
And I was like, "Holy shit!"
Commentary say that's Harley Cameron's back. I'm like, "Oh, even better."
I was like, "The Bunny's back? What's going on?" Actually, funny enough, if you go on Twitter, Sean Ross Sapp even said he thought it was Bunny at first.
Okay, good. Oof.
So it's a common thing, and I've seen it happen a lot. A lot of comments already on Twitter. So yeah, I thought it was Bunny, and I popped because here's the thing. Am I the biggest Bunny fan? No. But if you're going to bring people back, I'm going to lose my shit. I don't...
Yeah.
It's that easy. But yeah.
It was the pigtails. It
was. And the mask, to be honest, because it actually kind of looked like a rabbit. And I was like,
yep.
It's Bunny.
Uh-huh. Yep. Pigtails and the mask threw everybody off.
And then number 5 is one of my new favorite interests. I won't say wrestlers. Favorite interests in AEW. She looked better this match than she has the entire time she's been in AEW since she came in. Tekla.
Tekla? Yeah, I call her Tekla.
I did at first until I finally heard it pronounced correctly, and I've been working on that.
I know it's Tekla, but I don't like the spelling.
I am excited for Tekla. There's some things that happen in this match we'll also talk about that popped me pretty big, that I'm curious on what they're going to do with it. I like
the crab. Is it the crab walk thing?
Oh no, she's been doing that a while. I do enjoy that.
Well, I know it's one of her main things.
But I was worried because her first couple of outings were rough.
Right.
And I was like, oh no, she's going to be somebody that's going to come in and everyone's going to be excited. I mean, she's small too, which is like really small in comparison to a lot of the other women.
I mean, she didn't come across looking very.
I don't mean size.
Looking that small.
I don't mean size. Height. She's short.
Yeah, I understood what you meant.
So, but she's been kind of. I was worried she wasn't going to mix in well because, honestly,
she was in a match with Mina Shirakawa. Mina Shirakawa is super short.
Oh, I know.
So I didn't even notice the height thing.
But I do think this is her most impressive wrestling outing so far. Now, what worries me is they haven't let her talk yet. And I've seen promos with her before. And she can talk.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did some research when they announced her. And I was like, oh, I wonder who this is. Because I'd never heard of Tekla before. when everyone found out on Twitter or whatever that she got signed to AEW before she actually started showing up on TV, someone announced it. I was like, I don't know who Tekla is. I went and looked it up, and I liked what I saw from the scenes that I was able to find, from the promos I was able to find. Like, she has what could be the full package for a women's wrestler on the roster, but they haven't let her get on the mic yet. And I'm like, give her a fucking mic. Let her talk to somebody. Let her talk shit to Queen Aminata.
Well, she's got to get put in a proper feud first. Screen time for the ladies on AEW shows is not robust. So who do you see them giving promo time to that's not Toni Storm or Mercedes?
Whoever will be the next one they feud with will be it. It's they only let the people that feud with the two of them actually have mic time.
Yeah. Exactly.
So then the next person out is my favorite woman on the roster, who I knew was not going to win, by the way, which I'm fine with. Julia Hart. I have been a fan of Julia for so long.
She is 90% gimmick and entrance.
Hey, she's probably got my favorite theme song in AEW.
Presentation and stuff is important, but she's got to put it together a little more in the ring. Her stuff doesn't look impactful enough.
No, but she's gotten way better. I remember seeing her like
it's a far cry from the cheerleader gimmick a few years ago.
Right. But yeah, so she came out, and this is where I started getting excited. Throughout the match, did you notice her and Tekla were like sharing quote unquote romantic moments by being torturous to other people and watching each other? So they had that moment where they both did the German suplexes in the corner, and both of them stayed staring at each other while hanging upside down.
Yep.
And then they did the Black Widow and whatever Tekla did. I don't know what her move technically was. And they just stared at each other as they had the women in the submissions against the ropes. And I was like, maybe it's a trio. Maybe she can join up with Sky Blue and
the little girl
Julia
stable, huh?
Yeah. Of just crazy women. I'm okay with that.
I forgot Sky Blue was with Julia.
How? She was involved the whole match.
I didn't realize it was her until like several minutes into the match.
Yeah, she definitely don't dress in blue anymore.
The way she was dressed and the makeup and stuff. It's like, who the fuck is that?
I think pairing them two together was interesting, but I love it the more I see it, because I like seeing Sky Blue and Black. It's fun.
I remember when they were feuding against each other, but most of that stuff probably happened to get on Collision, and I am in and out of Collision sometimes.
Right. So after Julia, Queen Aminata comes out. We knew that it was going to be like a throwdown for a little bit between her and Tekla. It was expected, and it happened. And then who? Oh, there was a part where someone came in, and I don't remember. Oh, that's towards the end. Never mind. We'll get there.
Queen Aminata came out, and then after her was Mina.
Yeah, Mina Shirakawa came out, and Mina did her thing. They did their back and forth, and then the biggest entrance reaction of the night, probably, Athena came out at number 9.
Yes.
The crowd lost their shit. I lost, admittedly, my shit, because she is who I wanted to win this, by the way. So I have written down Athena to huge ovation -- also who I wanted to win.
Right. I put in Athena next, takes out everyone.
Yeah. So she does her thing. Thunder Rosa comes out, who is like the most underwhelming woman on the roster for me. I don't know what it is about her. I can't get into her. She's good.
She's good, but she's messy.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Number 11 is some lady named Shuri, who I've never heard of before. I know she's a Stardom woman, but...
Yep. She wrestles in Stardom, and that was the first time I had seen her.
I remember specifically Sean Ross Sapp mentioned her several days ago, saying that he knows that she had signed with AEW because he was excited for her to come in. But I just didn't know who it was, and I didn't take the time to look her up like I normally do when somebody says something like that. So I still don't know who it is. And then number 12, Osprey's fiance came out. Are they? I think she. Yeah, I think he just proposed to her. Alex Windsor.
Yeah,
She actually looked pretty decent.
She was another participant.
But by this
She
point,
was another participant.
we were winding down.
Yes, we were. I got on here. They are trying very.
Yeah. So there's a point where all of the women get in the ring, and this is after Alex comes out, dude. And I swear to you, there was this small little thing in the back of my head that was like, man, I hope the next person that comes out is Karma.
Oh, dude, I don't think she wrestles anymore.
I don't think she does either. I'm just saying, though. I'm like, this is a prime moment for some really big.
You just wanted somebody to come in and just wreck everything.
Yes, that's what I wanted. Bring in Nyla Rose if you have to do it, but Nyla is not as big as what Karma was. But yeah, so like I said, that just popped up in the back of my mind. But all of a sudden, so somebody does a move off the apron, and I don't remember who it was or how exactly it happened. But I noticed after it happened, you see Athena start to crawl away. And I was like, oh, is she about to just jump in and steal the win from somebody? Is that what we're doing?
Are you talking about the big spot on the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
So you see Athena crawl around, and I was like, I got excited because I was like, oh, it might actually happen. They might actually have her win. And all of a sudden, I don't remember even who she did her finisher to. I just remember seeing one of the women stand up in the ring as she was coming over to do a move to another woman, and then Athena runs and jumps up onto the top turnbuckle, hits her off the top rope, flip stunner move.
They were trying to put somebody in a figure four.
Yeah, that's what it was, and it was Rosa, wasn't it?
Was it Queen? Was it Queen Aminata?
No, I think it was Thunder Rosa, because I think she's the one that does the figure four.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I don't remember who she did it to either. I just know. So she does her flip blockbuster stunner thing, whatever the hell she calls it, because I don't know what it's called because I don't watch Ring of Honor.
Me neither, unfortunately.
I just know that is her finisher. I've seen her do it before.
Yep.
And she hits it, gets the pin, and dude, it is the first time of the entire night I actually stood up and clapped.
You're like, yay, they did the thing I wanted.
And the reason why is I didn't expect them to have her win, but I've wanted her involved on the main show for so long now. Because she is probably, arguably, top 3 on the roster in terms of skill, presentation, attitude. Like, she is really good. I've been a fan of this woman as a wrestler since she was Ember Moon.
Yep.
And I was so annoyed at right. I was so annoyed at how misused she was, even in NXT. And
yeah, she just kept running into Asuka, man.
And when she got let go or she left, I don't remember what happened. I think she got let go though.
She eventually got let go because she kept getting hurt. She kept having knee injuries, I believe, and they eventually just moved on. I mean,
right.
You know how WWE is. They bring all this talent in. At some point, somebody's got to go to make room for these people. So she just was a casualty of that.
Right.
But to her benefit, I think she's going to have much more room to be successful in this environment than she would have in WWE.
When she did leave, I remember being like, "Oh man, I hope AEW signs her." Right.
Yep, and then she turned up in Ring of Honor, and I'm like, why has she been in Ring of Honor for so long?
And again, I'm gonna be honest when I say this. I wonder how much of it was her choice. Because I feel like with as good as she is, if she wanted to come in sooner, she would have.
But here's the thing. She's been there a while, and during that stretch, AEW at points had not had the strongest women's division. Now, right now, it's pretty stacked. But they had a lot of periods where people were out, hurt, or otherwise that
Right.
they really could have used her on the main shows.
Right.
But hopefully, this is a transition to her being on the main shows and not being mostly featured on Ring of Honor.
So there are two names I was hoping was going to show up into this thing.
Okay.
Let me just get the right name for now. The first one I was hoping was going to show up that didn't was Ruby Soho. Her kid's been born. Damn it.
So she is training to get back. I've seen stuff online. She's training to get back.
Right. I was really hoping she was going to be back during this time because I feel like she's been gone long enough. The kid's got to be several months old at this point.
Damn, man, Ty Mello was out like 2 years. You're just trying to rush Ruby back.
I am. I think she's good. Of course I'm trying to rush her back. Ty could stay away.
I like some Ruby. She's from Indiana.
I was actually at the show where she told her boyfriend that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool thing I got to see live on TV. Well, it wasn't live on TV because they aired it on Rampage, but we got to see it live.
When they were in Indy and she was with the company, she'd always come out. Even if she wasn't wrestling, she would be on like the post show shenanigans and whatnot after they went off the air and stuff.
Right. And then the other name I was hoping to see, and you're probably not going to agree with me on this because you probably weren't near as much of a fan of her as I was. There's one woman who was in a somewhat later round of releases who literally just opened up within the last 3 or 4 days to be able to wrestle after being let go by WWE. I was really hoping Isla Dawn was going to show up because she's one of the few people I do want to see come over to AEW. I was a big fan of her and Alba Fire as a tag team. They were actually my favorite women's tag team. Obviously, there's some biasness in there with being kind of horror themed for their tag team.
Yeah, I mean, she didn't really move the needle for me, but new promotion, new opportunities could sway that.
Right. So I was hoping she was going to show up. Now, am I disappointed she didn't show up? Not near as much as I am Ruby, because like Ruby actually is hired, like she works for the company. Like I was really hoping she was going to be back by now. Especially now that the Outcast shit is far behind us. Now that the Outcast shit is gone, done. Like Ruby can be Ruby.
Yeah. We'll see how they book her on her return.
Right.
Because the division is a lot different from when she left it.
Way different.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so Athena's gonna get a title shot, and at this point, I was like, oh, Tony's gonna lose.
Yeah, I literally wrote in my notes. Where did it go? Oh no, I turned the page. I go, Athena wins, and I underlined it. I said, totally think Mercedes is winning now that Athena won this match.
All right, so match 6, and we're getting close to the end, guys. We're getting close to the end. There's only 4 more matches.
Only 4 more matches.
Only 4 more. We get the AEW Tag Title 3-way match, which I'm going to talk about my complaints with this. I didn't think it was a bad match by any means. But I will get there. So this was obviously the Hurt Syndicate, which is Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, versus Jet Speed, which is Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, and the Patriarchy, Christian Cage and Nick Wayne. FTR on commentary. All right. So out the gate, I thought Christian and Nick Wayne were winning. I didn't want them to win. I thought they were, and there's a reason. There were rumors of 2 sets of titles that were set to come out for AEW. One of them is the Women's Tag Championships, And one of them is they called it the father-son tag championships.
they probably leaked that just for you.
And I thought for sure what they were gonna do was have Nick and Christian win the fucking tag titles somehow, some way, right?
By hook or by crook.
And start doing and change the tag titles to father-son duos. That's what I thought they were gonna do. And so I was like, okay, they might win. But then there was a part of me, and I think I even told you about this, that was like, man, I hope Nick betrays Christian and Cope comes out and saves them.
Yeah.
Which kind of ended up being what happened. Kind of.
Pretty, yeah. After next week, it will be exactly what had happened. But
right.
As of right now, he did come and make the save. Spoilers.
Right. But, so West Side Connection comes out and wraps the Hurt Syndicate to the ring, which was super dope.
So, what feed of the show did you watch it from? Where did you order the pay-per-view from?
Amazon.
Okay. Was your feed having a lot of trouble with like double audio?
No.
So my feed through my satellite provider is having a ton of issues with like double audio. The entire entrance for them was like that, and several other spots throughout. So you didn't even really understand.
There's a reason. There's a reason why. I did get the double audio, but it wasn't a technical issue. The dude that was rapping the verse was a half step behind the beat.
Oh, okay. But there was other instances of in the night.
Oh, I didn't have any other instances. With this entrance specifically, I did because the dude came in slow on the beat.
Okay.
Now,
maybe that just made it sound even worse then.
I was not expecting MVP to also rap along with them, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, because it sounded like they had the regular feed audio and the PA audio on at the same time, and it was screwing everything up.
And then of course MVP and MJF came out with the Hurt Syndicate. We got MVP on commentary, which I'm always okay with. Or no, he didn't get on commentary because FTR was on commentary.
Yeah, they were off commentary. They were just, well, you heard him a lot because he was standing shouting pretty much the entire night or the entire match on the apron, standing on the steps. He was all over the place.
Right.
So you heard a lot of him. He just wasn't on.
The way that the match ends, so FTR kind of gets involved because Bobby Lashley comes out and pie faces Dax. Dax. I started to say I don't even know what I was starting to say, but I meant to say Dax. He pie faces.
He kind of pie faced both of them. Yeah.
Right. He pie faces them. He goes back into the ring, and then Dax and I think Dax and Cash both jump up on the apron. Bobby pushes Christian into FTR on the apron, and then Bobby spears Christian out of it, gets the pin. Hurt Syndicate wins. I am happy.
There was a really cool spot, and you'll know this because I've said it thousands of times over the years. Why doesn't just somebody leapfrog a spear? Christian leapfrog Bobby Lashley spear. I popped for that.
Oh, there was also the German suplex to the outside of the ring. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
That Shelton Benjamin did to one of the guys.
Speedball, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And
it was Speedball because he just launched him over the ropes.
Right. Which, for those that didn't watch the show, there were people there to catch him. He wasn't launching him German suplex over the ropes to the floor.
Yeah, Nick Wayne and Kevin Knight were there to catch him.
Yeah. So that was a really cool spot as well that I didn't write down, but I'm glad I remembered. Like I said, at this point, I was starting to get really light on my notes because I was tired of writing notes. And so
there wasn't a lot to this match. It was mostly dominated by the Hurt Syndicate.
This is where I have issues. This is where I have issues, by the way. And I'll even bring this back up later. The inconsistency with selling is driving me batshit. So we get earlier in the night, I had the selling issue where Dustin Rhodes is sitting in the corner selling a knee that he didn't even actually hurt.
My leg, pop up.
And yet, here we are in a match where not once did Bobby Lashley sell that he got concertoed in the knee 15 times on fucking Collision. Not once. He didn't ever jump and go, oh, my knee. Nothing. Bobby was just like, oh, none of that shit ever happened.
That's because he's in the business of just hurting people.
Yeah, no. He took a fucking chair to the knee in a concerto fashion by 4 different people, a total of like 6 to 7 times.
Hey, man, you know.
And we're not done talking about inconsistency in selling, because there's one other spot tonight, which we'll eventually get to.
Fletcher got kicked in the balls 4 different times, but, you know, he walked on out of there, so...
As somebody who's been kicked in the balls, it is actually quite possible to walk away after being kicked in the balls, okay? It is...
3 times?
This is like the equivalent of you rolling your ankle, storyline-wise, and then being perfectly fine the next night.
I didn't need a storyline. I just roll my ankles.
Exactly. That's why I use that specifically. But yeah, no.
I caught it. Yes.
It was annoying as hell because I was like, is Bobby ever going to go do a move and maybe like, you know, kind of like, oh crap. No, it never happened. Now, at the same time, I'm glad they won. This is not a complaint about their win. That they're who I wanted to win. They're just not who I thought was going to win.
No, you gotta wait for them. MJF's gonna have to accidentally cost them a match or something, so it furthers that story.
I did like. So here's the thing. I liked almost everybody in this match. I'm not a big Nick Wayne fan. I like everybody else.
I'm not a big Nick Wayne fan. I really don't. I don't get Speedball. I don't understand it.
I like Speedball because he is the not as bland Steve Blackman of this generation.
He looks like a kid from the 90s.
He looks like he used to be a fan of Three Ninjas.
I was going to say he really liked Power Rangers and then grew up, but never changed anything about himself.
My only complaint with Speedball is the fact that he wrestles without boots, and I'm tired of seeing this man's feet.
I hate it.
As a wrestler,
why would you do that to yourself?
As a wrestler, I would probably never agree to wrestle against somebody else who wrestles without shoes on, because that's disgusting to me.
You're just asking to break a toe or something.
No. I'm more annoyed by the fact I would not want to catch somebody's bare ass feet across the face. Not my thing. I don't care how much you're paying me. Listen, and I can pinpoint the time when this became a thing that I hated. I can pinpoint an exact moment.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is it what I think it is?
Jerry the King Lawler versus Bret Hart. Kiss My Foot match.
Where Bret Hart stuck his entire foot in his mouth.
Yeah, no. Ever since then, I'm not okay with it. Like, I don't... Yeah. It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I've watched tons of people get busted open. I've watched people drink each other's blood. And to this day, the most disgusting thing I have ever seen in a wrestling show was watching Bret Hart shove his entire fucking foot. Actually, I think he shoves King's foot into King's own mouth. If I remember correctly.
It was 1994. It was a blow-off match.
And it traumatized
in
me.
Your house, whatever. That match is actually on the Bret Hart VHS I have for like greatest Bret Hart matches.
I know that exact VHS because I've rented it before.
Yeah. Fun times.
So yeah, I don't like to watch dude wrestle without his fucking shoes on. He came out during Collision, I think, and actually had shoes on, and I'm like, see how easy that is? Easy.
Yeah, I hated it when Solo Sikoa was going through that bullshit too. It's like,
Gates of Agony do it as well. Drives me fucking batshit.
Yeah, put some fucking boots on.
I don't know how you motherfuckers don't hurt your ankles. Like, you have no protection whatsoever.
Yeah. Broken toes and just a ton of things could go wrong.
But yeah, so post Post match, FTR comes comes into the ring. They kind of walk down Christian and Nick Wayne, and I seen it coming, dude. Nick did such a bad job at hiding what was going to happen, or maybe I've just watched way too much wrestling in my life.
I would say it's a combination.
But yeah, Nick Wayne hits the kill switch on Christian. I about called him kill switch.
Nope, wrong guy.
Speaking of people, I hope comes back soon. But yeah, he hits the kill switch on Christian. Mama Wayne laughs her ass off.
Yeah, she's terrible. She's a terrible actress as well.
Kip Sabian looked like Wheeler Yuta did when the betrayal happened to Daniel Bryan. Like Kip Sabian didn't know what he was supposed to do for a second.
Yeah, Kip Sabian is. I can't believe he got latched onto that group in the first place, but
I don't. They needed to do something with him, I guess.
Yeah, good for him for being on TV.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. They're about to do the concerto to Christian so that he could come back next week and be perfectly fine, apparently.
Yeah.
And then
Cope's music hits.
Yeah, Cope's music hits. And then another pet peeve of mine, and he is the worst. Between him and Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, they are. Hey, I'm going to pose. I'm going to do my entrance. I'm going to do all this shit. Fuck the guy in the ring who's about to get, paralyzed. I'll get to him when I get to him. I got to pose for 30 seconds.
Every time Jeff has ever shown up to save Matt Hardy, he
stops and does his little dance.
He stops and does, I think they call it the juke.
Could care less what it's called.
But yeah, he does his stupid Jeff Hardy dance before he comes and saves him. And then Cope now has done it, where he comes out with Spike, and it's like, oh, he's going to run to the ring and help. No. He's going to run up and down the ramp.
He ran all the way to the other side of the ramp to jeer with the fucking fans before he comes down to save his buddy.
And ladies and gentlemen, it's a big ramp.
Yes. It is a full production.
So he comes down, he makes the save, and honestly, I don't know why I didn't think this is what was going to happen. He pulls the mic out, and he goes, "Go find yourself." And I was like, "That's pretty clever." I didn't think of it.
Yep.
I knew he wasn't going to tell him to go fuck himself because I know they're trying to build towards a Edge and Christian tag team. Cope and Christian tag team. And that's what I want for them at this point in their careers. Because at this point in their careers, neither of them need to be involved in singles title aspirations. I'm going to be honest with you. I never want to see Christian hold a singles title ever again. His TNT, Killswitch's TNT, whoever, that TNT title run was stupid. I hated it.
It was Christian's. God damn it. He won the title. I've always been a big Christian guy.
I love Christian.
Over Cope. I've just never gotten Cope.
I mean, we grew up together. I was never an Edge fan. I never was. I liked Edge when he was with Christian.
He did a fantastic job of shoving Adam Copeland down everybody's throat in the early 2000s. That it just,
I
don't know.
I've always liked them as a tag team. When they were with the Brood,
yep.
I loved it.
The Brood is great.
When they went on to do the 5-second post stuff, which we better get down the line.
I don't know if I need that kind of silliness, but
listen, I don't need kazoos, but a 5-second pose would be nice.
A kazoo, for old time's sake, I guess.
But no, I want to see them.
I don't need it every week.
No.
You can do it the first week you're back, and after that, I don't want to see it again.
But yeah, no, I want to see them do their tag team thing because I think that's where they both excel. And like you said, I was probably more of a Christian guy than an Edge guy. Edge has always had the better theme music, but
Edge has been mostly theme music.
Christian has had some bangers too.
He can wrestle, but
let's be real.
Use the same Evanescence instrumental.
In fact, Christian, alas, you're on your own was amazing. Amazing theme song.
Yeah. With the showering pyro.
Oh, yes. Oh, by the way, for those of you that didn't, I wanted to talk about this earlier. I didn't write it down. I didn't even think about it. I meant to. during the pre-show when the Sons of Texas came out, did you notice like the first 5 seconds of the Sons of Texas theme song is Gold Dust's intro in WWE, and then it switches into a different song?
I did not.
It did like the part of the song where it would show Shattered Dream Productions, that opening like 3 to 4 seconds. Yeah, theme song wise was the exact same as old school Gold Dust. I was like, that's a nice touch. Anyways, I only thought of that because of the stupid sparks that would come down for Christian's old school intro, and it made me think of Gold Dust's sparks that he used to have as well, which were very similar.
Yes, it was the curtain of pyro.
In fact, I think I've probably used that same intro sparks for several creator wrestlers.
That was my main pyro for my creator wrestler, so always been a big fan.
But yeah, so they leave. Christian walks off with Spike after Edge left him in the ring in the middle of the ring with Spike. So I'm sure he'll go to take Spike back to Edge or Cope, whatever, and talk to Cope about it later. And then we get the AEW Women's World Championship match, which I'm going to be honest with you, is my favorite match of the night.
I agree.
I think it was very solid. And every single time Mercedes wrestles, all I can think of is Britt Baker had to have sandbagged her. Had to have.
It's
had to have.
More and more, it's looking more and more like it, isn't it?
Because
I do have one complaint about this match, and we'll get to it when we're going through the match. But
so the intros were two of the best intros of the night.
Yep.
You start off with Monet coming out on a Cadillac that is very reminiscent of Latino Heat, and the train of her robe extends over the back of the car.
Uh-huh. Oh, she's got cheerleaders out there dancing, by the way,
and
that have all her other titles.
Yes, the cheerleaders are wearing all the other titles that she has. And she gets out of the car. The train of her robe has every wrestler she's beaten since joining AEW's name on the robe.
Yep. Nice touch. Nice touch.
And I was like, she's going to win this. That's how I felt, off the intro alone.
It was a banger of an intro. I still hate her. I still hate her music.
I'm a simpleton. I love it.
CEO. CEO. But it fits her. So you're not supposed. She's a heel, so you're not supposed to like everything, or you're not supposed to like things anyways. But yeah, awesome
I was admittedly also rooting for her for this match. I love Tony too. Don't get me wrong. I love them both, but this is just one of those moments where I was like, I'm kind of rooting for heels, so that at this point I'm rooting for heels so that it's more likely Hangman wins at the end of the night. Which obviously we'll get back to that shortly. But she comes out. It's an amazing intro. Then I swear to God, Tony has my favorite intro moment in probably the history of any AEW show I have ever seen. And I'm not speaking on hyperbole on this.
That's quite the statement, though, sir.
As far as intros, I'm just about intros within AEW since I've been watching for the last 2.5 years. They do the 70s vignette style thing where she's like doing her almost noir style rundown that is hilarious and very well done. And then she comes out on it with her cane hunched over and whatnot, and it's all black and white like she's done with every other intro she's done since she's been Timeless. She drops the cane, she flips off the hat, spins around, and as she spins around, everything that's red in the arena shows up as red. And she's got the Black Dahlia face paint on to look like the Black Dahlia, which I thought was a hell of a nice touch. And she makes her way down the ramp, dude. And I don't know, there's something about it that I was just like, this is amazing.
She is so all in on this gimmick that it just, even the moments that don't necessarily work do work because she's so dedicated to the gimmick.
From the very first
Like,
tits up, chin out, and watch for the shoe when she was talking to Renee.
And if you don't, and if you think this is easy, just look at NXT and her counter,
Who's trying to do the same
just,
thing, who can't do it.
and how flat it's falling there.
I feel so bad for Mariah
it's special.
May.
She'll figure it out.
Oh, she will, and she's going to be a star.
Lady, she'll figure it out. Yeah, she will.
She's going to be a star. I'm not worried about her time. I just feel bad for her right now because she wanted to go over to WWE to be in front of bigger crowds and have bigger moments, and right now she's wrestling for less people. And
hey man, she was on Saturday. She was on Saturday Night Main Event. What are you talking about?
Clapping her hands.
Well, it's better than clapping something else.
But no, like the intros again. That's just a small part of why I think this was the best match of the night. They definitely had my favorite entrances of the night, especially as a whole match is concerned. Like, I loved it.
Yeah, dude. So the entrances were great. The fucking crowd finally showed back up. They had been dead for a couple of matches.
You can honestly,
since the Young Bucks match,
and you can honestly thank Cope for that. If I'm being honest, I think him coming out hyped him back up.
I don't want to give Cope that kind of credit.
They'd have been into this regardless.
I just want to think that this match had them up for it. Because they showed up. They were in this match the entire time.
Right.
Which, like I said, had been at least a couple matches where they were kind of like, yeah.
They had some really good back and forths. And like there was one point where like this is the only match that I had connection issues. And it was about middle way through the match where my screen froze.
Oh no.
And I was like, the fuck is going on? Like, I didn't have sound, I didn't have anything, it just stopped. I waited for about 15 seconds and I hit refresh, and it took almost 45 seconds for it to fully refresh, and then it picked right up where it was supposed to be. So like,
okay, that's good at least.
It ended up
have to like,
yeah. But it was the first time she tried to get listen, I'm going to call it the bank statement. Because
I kept calling it that. My wife kept saying she ain't Sasha Banks no more.
Only because I don't remember what it's called now. But I've known it for like 15 years as the bank statement. But she tried to get her submission on, and even did the thing that she's always done where she kicks the ropes to get away from the ropes so they can't get the rope break. And then then is when my screen froze. It's like, you bastards. So yeah, I refresh it, and Tony hits a Storm Zero. Monet kicks out. Monet goes to do her finisher. There's some more of them trying to do finishers. Eventually, Tony hits 3 straight Storm Zeros in a row, and I'm like, oh,
and this
is over.
This is where I had the problem. The only critique of this entire match was you did the trio of finishers, and the person kicked out anyways.
Yeah,
and that bothers me.
But listen, for every negative, there's a positive. Because
you got the actual finish, which was good.
Then you got the top rope Stormbreaker.
Yes.
And I popped because I was like, first off, that's super dangerous. That's super dangerous. But
yep, Mercedes trusted her to do it right.
They knew what they were doing, and that's one thing I can honestly say that I do love about at least what I've seen in AEW. Obviously, I'm sure this is how it's always supposed to have been. Every pile driver I've seen has been done in a way where you can obviously see the person delivering it leans backwards so that the top of their shoulders hits the thighs.
Yeah, they lean backwards. The person taking the move tucks their head where all the impact is delivered to the shoulders.
So I've not seen once any pile drivers that have actually made me worry in AEW so far.
Okay, in AEW. I was about to say, yeah, you have.
No.
You have.
But you're talking about the Owen Hart Austin one.
Yep.
But that was
Just
done
to
in a
name
completely different way. Like,
Sure.
they dropped him straight on his fucking head. It's a tombstone pile driver. He should have never sat down with it. That's where he fucked up. That should have never been a sit down tombstone pile driver.
So Owen has done that move before. It's just how it was delivered.
Well,
He
when
didn't
you have
have a hold of Austin correctly.
also when you're
'Cause-
wrestling somebody with the size of neck like my brother has, you just can't do that.
No, you can't. You can't fucking. You can't sit down tombstone a giraffe. I get it, but still, there was one. There was one other spot in this match that they wrestled beautifully. They wrestled smart.
They did.
It made sense. There was a part where one of them was in a submission hold, and it was Sasha was in a submission, and she bit the arm of Tony to get out, or vice versa. I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah, because she had the bank statement on her again.
Yeah, and she.
Or no,
bit,
you're talking
no, it
about
was-
you're talking about
Sasha
when
was in a sleeper
yeah.
or something.
You're talking about when Tony had her. I think Tony got her in a bank statement.
Yeah, and she bit her arm to get off. I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's what an actual person would do. That's so
Yes.
smart." It's little things like that, attention to details, that make a match go from like, "Oh, that was a good match" to a great match.
Right.
And they delivered in spades. They did great. Match of the
And-
night, I wrote, great match. Would love a rematch of between the two.
And I'm sure at some point we'll get one.
Oh yeah.
I loved this match. I think Toni Storm's going to hit 1 year before she loses the title at this point because she's already at 200 and something days, 260 something days, I think they said.
Well, she's got Athena coming up at some point. Do we think Athena is gonna?
I think if Athena cashes in, it's going to be when Toni loses. Because
I don't know if I want that, because Athena's still ROH Women's Champion, and I'm tired of these belt collector gimmicks where people got multiple belts.
I think the difference that totally though is you're talking about somebody who just wants the 2 women's world championships. I don't mind, like, I understand being annoyed with the Monet belt collector gimmick, and I'm glad they didn't have her win. I expected them to have her win.
You had Kenny do it not that long ago as well.
That was like 2 years
And
ago.
FTR was the tag team version of this. It just seems like it, in that company, it just happens too frequently.
That's because it can only happen in that company.
You're not wrong there, but
WWE don't even like letting people wrestle in Noah, even if they're not going to use the person that was there.
I'm just tired of seeing other promotions' belts on their TV so fucking much.
Right.
It makes the championships that are there seem less valuable.
But yeah, so I absolutely loved watching, Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, book
We're
herself,
gonna do that
creatively book herself into a loss because
creative control, baby.
That's been the conversation. I fucking hate stupid people.
Hopefully this puts that to rest.
I like Sean Ross Sapp having to explain the difference between creative input and creative control a billion times, and people are still like, no, she's got creative control. And then you got assholes like JD from New York who want to constantly argue it. And it's like, no, dude, you're stupid.
Well, don't worry, he keeps receipts. So
after she creatively booked herself into a loss, it was a great match, dude. Yeah, match of the night from me as well. And this is the most you're gonna hear me bitch for the entire night.
Nice.
Match 8, Kazuchika Okada versus Kenny Omega. I'm gonna be honest with you. For anybody that's listening, I would still give this match a 7 or 8 out of 10. But there's an asterisk. I think it is the most disappointing match of the night overall.
Agreed.
And I think it is the worst of their 4 matches that they've had. I still think it's a fantastic match in general.
I agree.
I think it's a fantastic match in general. But do you remember when I told you that there's going to come a time where I'm going to bitch about somebody overselling something again towards the end of the night?
Kenny.
I am so tired of the diverticulitis cell, when I know it's bullshit, I'm not saying it's bullshit that he's had it. Obviously, he had it. He had the surgery. But I have watched another man with the same problem come in and dominate and have no issues with the same thing.
Too much. They've made too much of it.
And I spent this entire match. Go ahead.
It's to protect Kenny in the loss, but
it is.
They too much emphasis on it.
I spent this whole match watching two people who were better than they showed to be have moments of awesomeness. Moments of awesomeness. Don't get me wrong.
Here's the thing, though, Nick. Are they that great anymore?
Kenny, absolutely. Did you watch his Gabe Kidd match? Fantastic fucking match.
I did. I pay for New Japan World every month.
And in fact, I can even say I know for a fact Kazuchika Okada can still move, because when him and fucking old dude wrestled a couple weeks ago, I was surprised at how well both of them did in that match.
It depends on who was the agent, what they were willing to do. It was a fine match, but like you said, given their history and the match quality, if you went in expecting anything remotely close to those New Japan matches, you were left disappointed.
Correct. Now, with that being said, for every good thing, there's a bad thing. So, good thing, Jim Ross came out for commentary starting in this match. Bad thing, so did Don Callis.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of hearing Don. I really am.
I like Don Callis. I think he is so good at the role that he plays.
Oh, he is. He's just annoying. I can't.
Well, that's the point of it. His banter with Taz is always entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Because him and Taz get along, but him and Shivani don't. So Shivani will sit on it, and then Taz will make fun of Shivani, and then Cal's will like, "Yeah, shut up, Shivani." But yeah, he's such a heat magnet.
And then when Kenny came out, Kenny Omega, it looked like he had a Shao Kahn style costume, which I thought was a strange choice if that's what he was going with, because he's not a heel.
It was probably some Final Fantasy thing.
Actually, it was probably Street Fighter, if I had to guess, because it doesn't look like a Final Fantasy character's thing.
I am an avid Street Fighter fan, and I don't...
Well, that's why I said it. That's the only thing I could think of, because I'm an avid Final Fantasy fan. So who knows? Because I don't know what the fuck he was doing there. And then, okay. I mentioned, how is it we get Bobby Lashley not selling being concertoed on the knee 32 times earlier this week, but we get Omega selling a surgery we know he's healed from 3 months or 6 months ago. And then, of course, I didn't go into so many details of the match. There were some pretty cool spots. There was one point where I think, if I remember correctly, Kazuchika, he like pile drove or did something to Kenny into the announce table outside.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of their normal spots. Kenny hit this man with what had to have been a dozen of his what the fuck is that? V-trigger.
The knee.
He V-triggered the shit out this man.
Yeah, it's a Kenny Omega match.
I thought for sure by that point Kenny was going to win. I was again rooting for Okada at this point because, again...
Well, he hit the one-winged angel. He was set up to win, and then Callis pulled the referee out.
Right. But again...
there was also the spot where Okada looked like he was scared to take that dragon suplex off the top rope.
He did, though. And boy, was it nice looking. I loved how, by the way, the announce team...
I don't think it was nice looking. I think it looked a little sloppy because he clearly had to turn because he didn't want to just do a backflip.
Right. Now, here's the thing. He protected his face. It does not look like he does in fast motion, but when you watch it in slow motion, when they showed the replay of it, you can see the way he turned.
It was safe.
He got his hands down.
Awkward.
But the commentary team did such a good job selling. They were like, I think he landed on his face. And when you see it in fast motion, it looks like he landed on his face. But no, when they showed it in slow motion, I'm like, yeah, no, you can absolutely tell that, like, he got his hands down. He protected himself. Um, but no, like I was Okada obviously after some crazy shenanigans involving everybody. Okada hits the Rainmaker, wins. I was happy for this because that meant it was more likely that Hangman was going to win. That's all I cared about at this point.
Kind of interested to see what they're going to do with this title.
The rumor is it's supposed to be a secondary main championship.
I know. That's what I had read as well.
Here's my thing. They don't need a secondary main championship because y'all ain't got two shows where rosters are supposedly separated. This ain't Raw and SmackDown.
They've got too many titles as it is. They need to just continue to...
I'm worried because obviously Okada doesn't wrestle very often. My guess is Okada's next defense will be against Ibushi. In a more official title capacity.
He just beat Ibushi clean though.
Yeah, I know, but it's wrestling. Okada's gonna want his revenge for him losing to. I'm pretty sure eventually what's going to happen is the Golden Lovers are going to be thrown into the tag division, long term. Which I actually think is best for them overall. For now, as much as I want to see, I like seeing Kenny involved with singles championships, especially considering he's like one of the main figureheads of the company. But he doesn't need to be involved with singles championships. They've got enough people right now that can. At some point, if he wants to come in and have maybe a short feud for the title with whether it ends up being, whether Hangman still has it by the time he gets around to it, or if by then Hangman loses it to MJF or whoever. I mean, Kenny can be thrown into a feud with anybody and it'll work.
Sure.
But he doesn't need to, is where I was basically going with that. I think the company's fine without him being in that capacity.
And he's even said in interviews that he's not looking to really ramp up what he's doing.
Oh, Steven Richards ripped him a new one for all this. Not seriously, but...
I like Stevie Richards.
It wasn't
to his little podcast.
Yeah, it wasn't negative. He basically just said, like, because Kenny during that interview had said something along the lines of, he's getting older. He's not got much more time left. He's slowed down. And Steven's like, even slowed down, you look like you're faster than 80% of that locker room. He's like, I can't tell that you slowed down. He's like, if anything... This is a great time for you to become the ring general you should be, being the main veteran in that locker room at this point.
Yeah, it depends. Like his work rate, I wouldn't say his work rate is any different.
It is though, in a way.
It depends on what continent he's on or what country he's in.
That's also true. Because he fucking killed it in that match over in New Japan.
He tries so much harder over there, and I don't get it. Like, this is the main company that you helped fund, right? Yet your return was over there. You just seem to try a lot harder over there. Like, it
probably feels... I think it's because it feels like home to him, because he spent so much of his career there. And
I get that, but
I actually think he gets. This is going to sound crazy, but from what I've seen and what I've seen of him from New Japan and here, I feel like he gets more of an actual positive reaction in New Japan than he does here. I mean, people love him. Don't get me wrong, but he feels special. Let me give you another example, and this is a much more obvious. It's probably a bad example, but look at the difference between Mystico in the Grand Slam Mexico and Mystico anywhere else. Obviously, he's from Mexico. So they're going to cheer, sing the song, be super into it. But I still feel like that's a lot of what it's like for Kenny with New Japan. He just had such a long time over there. And again, there's going to be somebody that might come along and be like, oh, you're basically saying he's being underappreciated. I don't think he's underappreciated in America. I just don't think he's as big a deal here as he is in New Japan.
don't disagree with you, but like I don't know, the drop off is so considerable.
Right. How much of that is
For-
Tony Khan
for-
finally
for-
stepping in?
For Okada as well. Like, okay, you read like on the internet and shit, like, oh, it's lazy Okada, it's American Okada. He's just, he doesn't work hard here. He's,
Which is
this and that.
Which is crazy
But-
because he's actually had two of his better matches recently. He had the one with over here, by the way, not ever.
I knew what you meant.
But he had the match
But
with.
he does look considerably slower at times here. Like he's just disinterested.
He had the match with the shoeless Mike Bailey, and that was actually a really good match. And then he had the match a couple weeks ago against Ibushi, which was a huge surprise because I thought it was just going to be completely phoned in. And the two of them wrestled like they were actually trying for something. I would actually wager to say that match surprised me more than this one.
Yeah.
But I think it's
that's
I think it's expectation level. The one with Ibushi, I was like, oh, it's probably not going to be that great, and then it actually ended up being pretty good. And this one, I'm like, oh, it's probably going to be great, and it just ended up being, it's still good. Like I said, I'd give it like a 7, 8, 7.5, 8, somewhere around there. But that's considering the other three matches are like 15 out of fucking 10. That's still a drop off.
Using that Dave Meltzer skill.
Yeah, something like that. Obviously exaggerating is what I'm doing. I'm just saying.
I know.
It was the most disappointing match of the night for me. Not the most disappointing moment,
good.
but the most disappointing match.
It was good, but not great like you thought it was going to be.
Right. Finally, we get to the World Heavyweight Championship match, which I definitely loved.
Overbooked mess of a match.
I definitely loved way more than Joe. I can tell you that out the gate. He doesn't get into the blood as much as I do.
Blood doesn't bother me. It has a point in wrestling. It just Jon Moxley matches are all the same, and it's a gore fest. Like, hey, I can't do any of the vices I used to do, so now I'm just a masochist.
I will say I am glad that no one drank any blood this time.
No, they just threw themselves on beds of nails.
That's not the first time I've seen that, though.
I know, and it's doctored and what have you, but it's just.
So I did love
this.
A
lot.
I did love this match. I don't think it's the greatest death match I've seen. I don't even think it was the better one of the two they've had.
I would agree with that. The other one was a little tamer and a little more cohesive, and this was just overbooked with a gang of interference and just a bunch of.
Here's the thing, though.
All over the place.
I expected and wanted it to be overbooked.
Well, that's just what all his matches have become since he's been champion, because that's the only way he's been holding on to the title.
Right. My problem with this was it wasn't... The people that showed up...
It wasn't violent enough.
No, it was violent. The people that got involved weren't the people I expected to get involved. I had mentioned earlier, none of the ops ended up showing up, which confuses the fuck out of me. Because I don't understand why you need Joe to come out and be useful.
Yeah, especially since they just put out your main dude, right?
And like, let me tell you this. You want to get a pop out of the crowd? You want to get a pop out of the crowd? You want to make this an overbooked absolute fucking mess in a way that would get the crowd super fucking into it? Why didn't the Dark Order come out?
Because they're the Dark Order and they have no place on pay-per-view.
Yeah, but the Dark Order is one of the people that had the initial issue with the Death Riders. Why wasn't that? Now these people obviously didn't need to get involved. Why wasn't who are the two old guys that the Death Riders like to fuck with?
Who are the two old guys? He says
the tag team. You know what I'm talking about. Is it the Rockers?
Are you talking about when
Midnight Express? Midnight Express.
Yeah, I was about to say when
they
beat up Morton.
Yeah. The Midnight Express. Like,
yeah, they weren't booked here, brother.
Why weren't they ringside? I don't need them involved.
Because we had to have Darby send a message from Mount Everest, even though he's not there, and then
But
rappel down from the roof.
listen, we'll get to that in a second. I expected Darby to be involved. I expected Bryan Danielson to be involved.
I was happy to see Bryan Danielson.
Those weren't surprises. Neither of them. Those were
No.
expected from me. I was excited to see them.
Osprey coming out and getting lit up was
yeah,
weird.
Osprey getting wrecked was like, what the fuck? What? Obviously, I had told you, I had messaged you before we even got there. I was like, hey, Swerve's going to bring that chain out because
you called it.
Because when they had their meeting at the end of Collision,
Mm-hmm.
where they buried the hatchet. Yeah, where they buried the hatchet. Hangman accidentally left the chain on the floor, and that's what I knew from that moment. I was like, oh, he's going to come out at the end of the match and probably give it to
long-term storytelling.
Yeah, whole 48 hours. So, overall, I thought the match was fine. Like I said, I didn't think it was as good as their first one. The interference with Bryan Danielson cracked me up because he comes out and does the yes chants after announcing and saying and posting during an interview saying that WWE had recently called and asked him to stop doing it. So he comes out and immediately does the yes chants. The first thing you see, he slides in the ring and starts fucking sticking his fingers up in the air. And I'm like, awesome. That's his middle finger to the Fed.
Well, they're not going to... I mean, what can you do to that? Like, right. You can't control what the crowd chants.
And again, guys, I called him the Fed. I know it's a stupid fucking term that is used during the toxic stuff online. But, like, come on. I love WWE, and they do piss me off with stuff like this. So, he comes out in his Blue Panther mask, which I thought was amazing. Does the Busaiku knee to whoever it was he did it to initially. Was it Mox?
Was it Yuta?
Or Yuta. I think it was Yuta.
It was Yuta.
Yeah, he takes Yuta outside the ring, basically single-handedly whoops him and Gabe Kidd's ass.
Yeah, he dog walks the shit out of him.
Takes them both out of the match single-handedly. The Bucks come in to try and fuck over Hangman. And then, of course...
nearly succeed.
Yeah, nearly succeed. Osprey comes out, is helpful for about 10 seconds, and then he gets whomped.
He gets wrecked super hard by Claudio.
But yeah, and like I said, oh my God, I did not mention the epic fucking slam that Hangman did to old girl through the table.
Marina, he Death Valley, didn't he? Like Death Valley driver?
I think he did. It was either that or like a German or a powerbomb or something. Anyway, he put her through that fucking table, dude. And I am not one of those people that glorify men on women violence. And I'm sure there's somebody that's a WWE fan that is up in arms about this happening. But I think there is a time and place for it.
Or there's a GCW fan who's like, yeah, fuck that bitch. Powerbomb her through another table.
Yeah. I'm in the middle. I got to pop as a teenager to Bubba Ray putting Mae Young through a table.
Several times.
Off the stage, yeah. Like, I enjoyed that stuff. Because I'm a sicko.
At the end of the day, they're wrestlers and they're taking bumps.
Yeah. Even though Bubba has said several times he never felt comfortable with that. So, that's always fun.
Well, there's a vast difference in age there.
Yeah. Now, but no, yeah, he put Marina Shafir is her name. He put her through a table.
Roddy's wife, Roddy Strong's wife.
And yeah, dude, the match ended up being really. And there was that moment, dude, and I loved it. Like, there are little things Mox does that I think are fantastic.
I like his facials. Mox has really good facials.
His facials, I have grown accustomed to the Death Rider storyline towards the end of it. And maybe it's because I'm ready for it to end, and it had, well, at least this portion of it has ended. We don't know if they're still going to be fucking with people or not. I don't suspect they're just going to disappear. But there was that moment where he tells Marina, go get the belt, I want to make him smell it.
Yep.
And I was like, that's dope. Like, he's going to rub this belt in his face before he pins. Now, obviously, I still thought that Hangman was going to win. But the idea, the premise of shoving this belt in his face to see what he and everybody else is not allowed to have and see. I was like, that's some dark and twisted shit as far as, you know, in wrestling storytelling goes.
It's good character work.
And I was like, oh, that's great. And then Prince Nana handcuffs her to the table.
Yeah, I'm like, when the fuck did Nana get out there?
Or how did he know she was going to come for that box? It's
right.
like
he's just hiding behind barriers under tables and shit.
Fucking weirdo. Probably down there dancing for the crowd.
Right. He's just down there doing his little dance at the table the whole time.
But yeah, so he does that whole thing. He handcuffs her.
The reveal was kind of ruined because the cameraman didn't catch it very well. That's another thing about this show. There was a lot of production issues, where camera angles were weird and stuff, but that's just AEW in general.
Right. So yeah, there's that, and then Swerve comes down, hands the chain after taking out the Bucks with the chain. Hands the chain over to Hangman, slides it into the ring for him. Hangman tries to toss Mox over the ropes the first time to hang him, like he did in the first time they met. And Mox brings him over with him so that it doesn't happen. They go back into the ring, and he does it again. And
Mox's face during the whole time was great.
Okay, here's where my actual main complaint with this match comes, by the way, because like I said, I loved the match. It's a very minor complaint. It's not something that I felt brought the match down by any means. But the first time him and Hangman did their Texas Death Match, and Hangman hung him over the ropes, it looked more believable. And it was probably because of how Hangman was sitting on the edge of the apron. It didn't look like he was sitting on the edge of the apron. It actually looked like he was hanging. Whereas this time, he clearly had a full leg up on the side of the apron.
Again, production issue.
And yeah, I wasn't a fan of it looking fake on that point, because
the camera should have been in tighter.
I've already seen you successfully complete this ending before, and now I'm watching you not successfully complete the same ending. Outside of that, I thought the match was fine. It was bloody. There was that point in the very beginning where Hangman was actually stabbing the fuck out of Moxley's head with the fucking fork.
Yeah, that was brutal.
I was like, holy shit.
Because he was
But then Mox got him back by taking the barbed wire and scraping it across fucking Hangman's back. These two love their death matches, man, and I think it's more of a Hangman thing than it is Mox at this point, because Hangman has had it. I guess Mox has had death matches with other people too, though.
It's become like Hangman's signature match, but they've been a little less violent than this. Like his one with Christopher Daniels was like a PG version of
it's
a
basically
death match.
It's basically Chainsaw Charlie and Mick Foley.
Every time I think of that, I think of the Raw I was at when they rolled them off the stage.
Somebody's not going to get that reference.
And they spent so much time cleaning that up.
Goddamn youngins. Oh, definitely. But yeah, we end with Hangman finally opening the briefcase, pulling out the most beautiful world title in wrestling today.
Only because New Japan changed theirs, but...
Also, TNA's looks really good, too, though.
I like TNA's belt. I agree. Their world championship looks great.
But yeah,
WWE's championships are terrible.
I like their world title, but I don't know if I like it or if I just like that it's not as ugly as the Undisputed
You just
Championship.
like that the logo isn't as big and it looks like more than just a giant logo around somebody's waist.
Correct. I guess that's pretty accurate. Man. So here's what I got to say about the pay-per-view as a whole. I obviously don't have the luxury of being able to compare this to every single AEW pay-per-view that has ever existed.
I do. I've seen every one of them. Not for me.
I have only been watching since the revolution that Saraya made her return to. Her in-ring return. I was watching. I watched the Dynamite she showed up. Because I heard she was showing up, and I was curious. So my first ever AEW pay-per-view was that Revolution that year. I think that was 2.5 years ago at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
And of what I've seen, I do think this is the best AEW pay-per-view I've seen. As a whole.
See, I wouldn't even say it's better than last year's All In.
I wasn't very impressed with last year's All In. I liked it. Really? Don't get me wrong. I liked it. But this is the first All In where I truly feel like all of the matches had some kind of story going into it that mattered, with the exception of the thrown together TNT title match, which was obviously out of their control. And they still tried to make it as meaningful as they did. I mean, they brought in Sammy Guevara, who was a multi-time TNT champion, so I know why he was there. They brought in
Daniel
Garcia because he had just lost it and he had just been feuding with old boy. I still don't understand why Dustin was brought in, but I'm sure it was so that he could win it in front of a crowd to make them happy.
Because of Texas.
Yeah. The same reason Saraya won last year for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. Or no, that was 2 years ago that she won that. Last year, she came out and got dog walked by fucking Jamie Hayter.
She was on like the pre-show things, right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, because last year was Britt Baker and Monet and Mariah May versus Toni Storm.
Right. So the reason I think this is in my favorite AEW pay-per-view so far, I don't think there was a bad match. In fact, I think every match on this pay-per-view, barring the pre-show, was a good match. Was I disappointed in a couple of them? Yes, but that's more, I'm a fan. There's going to be things I'm disappointed in. I was pleasantly surprised a lot, which normally doesn't happen. Usually, like, Ricochet showed up at last year's All In for the Casino Gauntlet, and that was, like, a good surprise. I was like, oh, hey, Ricochet's in AEW. I mean, we all knew he was coming anyways, but it was still cool. But, like, seeing all the returns, most of which I wasn't expecting. We got Juice back. We got the Guns back. We got some other people back that I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think there was a bad match. I was more invested in most of the stories. I do feel like last year's All In, there were some lackluster, like seriously lackluster stories going into it. And again, I've said this before, the wrestling is the most important part to me. And I know there are people that like, there are people that are definitely story driven when it comes to wrestling. My main focus when watching a show, when watching a wrestling show, is the wrestling itself. It's called pro wrestling for a reason. But a good story is going to enhance that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like this year's shows had some good stories. Even in the pre-show, the one really, really good match, which was FTR and Outrunners. There was a good story going into that, and they ended it with a kind of good addendum. And I'm actually excited to see what happens with the tag titles now that... Dude, we're going to get FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate. I'm stoked.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm spoiled. I've gotten to see...
I am also, by the way, not counting the very first All In because it technically wasn't an AEW show. But keep going.
No, neither am I. Even though I was at that. I've gotten to see 2 All Outs live.
Right.
I got to see the ladder match between the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros. I got to see
Damn good match.
Adam Cole and Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson. That'll happen a lot too. Come back or come to AEW and happen at the end of that show.
Right.
So I've been spoiled with a lot of stuff. Twas not my favorite AEW pay-per-view. Very middle of the road to me. A lot of the matches were underwhelming. The gauntlet matches in particular really dragged the show down. You add that with the disappointment of Adam Cole, and it really became kind of an underwhelming show because of that stuff. The matches that were beside those matches, were good matches. A couple great matches, but I've seen shows where every match was great.
Right.
So,
yeah,
middle of the road for me.
And that's kind of where I was, though, right? This one, I was actually high on everything. I loved the Casino Gauntlet matches, but I've always loved Casino Gauntlet. I think it's probably my second favorite match type behind, no surprise, the Royal Rumble. Now, I will say, I wish that All In was not where the Casino Gauntlet matches happen. I wish it was Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
They're named after Vegas Vegas terms anyways. It should be at a Vegas.
It's a casino. It's a casino themed pay-per-view.
And on the flip side, one of the reasons I will say I do like it being involved, though, is I honestly believe the Money in the Banks should be moved back to WrestleMania. I don't think we need a Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Put a Money in the Bank on each night of the WrestleMania. A men's on one night, women's on the next night. I always thought it made for a more interesting possibility of cashing in the night of WrestleMania. You win, you might cash in.
I agree. Especially if you were the women's champion, and they almost always did.
Right. So I've always been disappointed that Money in the Bank made its own thing. And we've talked before. I don't like pay-per-views, PLEs, whatever, being named after a match type other than like Royal Rumble Survivor Series makes sense, right? But they've been that way for 20, 30, 40 years. Definitely longer than 20.
We're in the
40s.
So was there 40-some WrestleManias, which means there's high 30s of the others?
Yeah,
so,
I believe so.
Guess what, bro? You're old now.
I know. Elimination Chamber is one of the few exceptions. Only because it's become so ingrained, and that's something we've talked about as well. It has become so ingrained with the road to WrestleMania. It's how they determine who's going to be the other world title wrestler.
Yeah, Elimination Chamber it serves its purpose, but like to your point, Hell in a Cell.
Don't need a Hell in a Cell. Don't need Money in the Bank. Don't need what's the other one they do? There's another one.
I hate War Games.
War Games.
Hate it.
Well, I do not mind War Games as a match type. Every Survivor Series, I don't need both Survivor Series matches to be War Games matches.
I hate War Games because it's, hey, everybody do the entrance and then stop for fucking a minute to a minute and a half to even longer trying to pull furniture out from underneath the ring to bring in the ring.
Do you know what I would actually do to make War Games better? And now we're getting off topic, but I don't care. I would take the War Games match. And do you remember all of those like weird cage matches we used to get where like weapons would hang on the side of the cage? Just do that.
I would much rather they already been. Yeah. If you're gonna use furniture, have it in there already.
Do you want to have Io jump off the top of the cage, with a trash can wrapped around her? Put the trash can at the top of the cage. Have it strapped in so that she can climb up there, put that motherfucker over her face, and then jump down.
It just...
And don't let Nia hold a chair.
It just drags the whole match down. It drags the pacing of the match down. You get people just standing around waiting for somebody to bring in the fucking tool they need for the spot they're waiting to do.
Right. But yeah. So funny enough, I had mentioned it's the best, in my opinion, AEW pay per view I've personally seen for me. I would even go as far as to say it probably ranks in the top 3 to 5 regular just wrestling shows I've seen.
Oh, man, I far disagree, but
Um,
your opinion, not mine.
my problem, and even as an Attitude Era junkie, because it is my favorite era of wrestling, it's what I grew up in, there were still tons of pay-per-views that were so bland with a lot of the smaller matches.
Back then, it was all about the main event.
Right. And I'm judging full shows, right? There have obviously been much higher moments as a whole from other, like, old school WWF stuff.
Sure.
Obviously, I'm not comparing this entire pay-per-view to, say, Austin versus Bret Hart.
WrestleMania. Yeah, you're not comparing it to WrestleMania 15.
Right. I'm not comparing it to individual moments. I just feel like as a full fleshed out pay-per-view, it's probably among my faves of all time. I am super excited to see where the tag division goes. I feel like the tag division actually took a few steps forward tonight. Now, it will probably take several steps back because nobody, H or Tony Khan for that matter, knows how to book a tag division. The women's division is never going to be what I want it to be in AEW because they don't have the time to let it be what I want it to be in AEW. It's one of the things I got into a debate.
Well, they do. They just won't. They just won't do it.
Well, yes and no. Who was it? There was somebody I was debating with on Twitter a couple weeks ago. They'd said something along the lines of wishing that there was more time for the women in AEW, and I definitely agree because they have a stacked women's roster, and I would love to see more of them. But my problem is, who are you going to take time away from to give them that time? And that's where my problem comes in, because everything that's been going on, and hopefully moving forward, we can give less time to the Death Riders and stuff like that, right?
Please.
But leading up to this, you can't do that, because all of the stories that were fully culminated on tonight did take all of that time to really set up and get people invested in.
But you've got 2 shows.
You do, but again, they don't do a hard roster split. I still wish they would.
I know, but you still have 2 shows.
And yeah, but the problem is both those shows have moments from both Mercedes and Tony. Both those shows have moments from Osprey and MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. And it's, on one hand, it's one of the things that I miss from the Attitude Era that I do love to see, and that's where multiple shows are being used to carry on storylines. I remember when SmackDown first started, how exciting it was to actually see Austin or The Rock on my TV twice a week now. And that goes for anybody that was used. But back then, there wasn't much of an actual women's roster that mattered. But now we're in a time where women actually wrestle, and women are actually good at wrestling. And I do want to see them more on my TV.
Yeah, because honestly, WWE has been living off their women's division for a long time because their male divisions have been stagnant.
Oh, yeah. And I've been telling people, I've been hoping more people do start to, and AEW's numbers are slowly rising. I don't want people to think that I don't have this unrealistic expectation that, AEW is going to surpass WWE and become a bigger. No, I'm not. I don't care about that first and foremost. But I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not stupid enough to think it's going to happen.
They don't have the tenure. They've not been around for 40 some years and have an established fan base. They're a growing company.
But I will say the current model of AEW and why I do like it more than the current model of WWE is this version of AEW, from what I've got to see the last year to year and a half, more so the last 3 to 4 months. Definitely more so the last 3 to 4 months. Reminds me more of the Attitude Era than anything else I've got to see on TV. And I don't mean
And
that
it's because of the variety.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in the way that it's they're obviously not objectifying women the way that Jerry the King Lawler, well, Vince did, everybody did. It was a thing.
It's the Jerry Springer era of television.
Right. It still has it does have edge to it, which is one of the things I do like. I don't like how PG WWE has become. I don't care about someone's 9-year-old kid becoming a fan of wrestling by what I don't fucking care. Like I want to see some edge to what I'm watching. I grew up on the Attitude Era, and I feel like I actually turned out like a pretty decent human being. So I don't.
The thing I hate about WWE and what their product has become is they've become too commercialized.
Yes, as more so the last 6 months.
Since the TKO buyout, which given what Vince's WWE looked like at the end, you wouldn't think something would be more commercialized, but
No.
boy, it's way worse.
But the current AEW product are in a position where it's the first time in a long time I can sit here and probably rattle off 8 to 9 people that are legit world title contenders. And you can't do that with WWE because
you can to a point. It just depends.
Not with the brand split.
Okay, I'll give you that. That's fair.
Because you've got Cody, you've got fucking Jay, who shouldn't even be on that list.
We were at the Rumble this past Rumble, and he's such a Jay Uso fan, guys. Don't let him fool you.
Absolutely, I'm pretty sure I was the one that stood up and said, "Hey, we can go." and,
that's because I was sitting there with my head in my hands, sitting next to you. Like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Actually, you were on the other side of Kristen. I think she was in between us. No, we were sitting next to each other, weren't we?
No, I was in the middle.
You're right.
I sat between you and my wife. That would have been weird, me sitting my wife in between us.
That's true. But no, they've got... I mean, the problem is they've got people they could use, and they don't, dude. Drew needs to be involved in the world title picture. I don't know why he's not.
Yeah, they have Drew.
Randy Orton.
They don't utilize Sheamus very much anymore.
Oh, Sheamus could be great. So they got people they could use, but they're not going to. Whereas I do think AEW's got a good group of people they're going to use.
No, because they're not a part of the bloodline, because they've beaten they're fucking draining that thing for all its...
Wait till tomorrow's review, guys. That's a fun one. But yeah, no, and Evolution hasn't even happened yet. I'm actually looking forward to that show, though. But yeah, I'm
looking forward to 2 matches from that show. The rest of that show is probably going to be a slog for me.
Mediocre.
The multi-women match is the Rumble one, the Battle Royal, and the tag team one is going to be hopefully good, but I don't have the highest of expectations. Right. I hope I'm right. But I'm looking forward to Becky, the 3-way with Becky, Bayley, and Valkyria, and then obviously the EO and Rhea one.
I don't even know what all the matches are, if I'm being honest. I've been so out of the loop with WWE as a whole the last couple weeks, and that's honestly...
I could tell you if you want.
That's honestly the 2025 match card. They've only used the last 2 weeks to build up their fucking matches. So,
well, because counter programming.
Yeah. We've got Io Sky versus Rhea, and look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm not looking forward to this match.
Their match at Mania was good.
There's a reason. I'm not an EO fan. I've never been an EO fan. I don't hate her. I'm not an EO hater by any means. But I don't gravitate to her because WWE's female Japanese talent all have the same personality. Crazy Asian. And I hate the stupid...
The same thing could be said about AEW.
Oh, it's getting there. It's getting there. But the whole pointing to her face and smiling and shake, I hate it, dude. I hate it. As a wrestler, she's fine. I enjoy watching her wrestle.
They won't let her talk.
They let her talk sometimes. It's just she talks in Japanese and we don't know what she says.
They're so afraid to let her talk because her English isn't good.
On the opposite end, I do like Rhea Ripley, but I don't want her to win. And not because I'm somebody that's like, oh, she's held the title too much. I don't care about that.
You've got Rhea fatigue.
I wanted to see Io wrestle Asuka, if I'm being honest. That's what I wanted.
I'm a huge Asuka fan.
I love Asuka. She's the one Japanese lady that's not exactly like everybody else.
I agree. She should be pushed harder, and I'm with you. I do have Rhea fatigue. I need Rhea to find something else to do for a while, to not be pushed so hard. But she's super popular, and it's not in the cards. But she's reaching Charlotte Flair type fatigue for me.
I love Charlotte, but that's a whole other thing. I love Charlotte as a wrestler.
Charlotte's amazing. She's an amazing talent. But it's, Charlotte's here. Charlotte wins, lol.
This tag team that they're building up with her and
that sounds like SmackDown. I don't watch SmackDown.
I watched Simon's thing. They're building up a thing with her and Alexa Bliss, I think is what it was. It's so weird.
Oh, that is... Well, they're both blonde, so I guess they got that in common. Gimmick-wise, they're nothing.
There's the WWE Women's Championship match, which is Tiffany Stratton. Dear God, I'm going to do that so much tomorrow. So much.
Versus Miss Stratus.
Tiffany and Trish. Because the WWE hates me and my dyslexia. They're going to make it harder on me. I'm not looking forward to this match at all. Here's the problem. I don't care for Tiffany.
Well, yeah, because Tiffany's going to win. Trish isn't going to beat her because Trish isn't a full-time wrestler.
Right. They just
choreographed the end of that match. It'll be a good match. They'll wrestle hard.
I don't care for Tiffany as a character. I've never liked her character work as far as her actual personality. Again, she's another one of those people I love watching in the ring. I think she's talented.
The most entertaining she's been is when she went off script and cut Charlotte a new one and then bounced.
I think what really rubbed me the wrong way, and this is probably extremely petty, and I don't care. I got to listen to this woman one time when I decided I was going to start watching NXT back when she was on NXT. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make an actual effort to watch NXT. By the way, that lasted for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can't watch HBK ran NXT.
I heard this woman go.
Awful.
I heard this woman go, I think I just had a Tiffany epiphany, and I turned the fucking channel.
Well, it was you that had the epiphany. You're like, yeah, this ain't for me.
Yeah, no. I cannot stand it.
It's so fucking cheesy now. It makes me miss the black and gold era so much.
Then there's Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra.
Which would be a banger.
I'm actually looking forward to that match. Becky Lynch is my favorite female wrestler probably of all time. Bayley's really good. Lyra's really good. I don't want Becky to win.
She will.
She will. And now here's the thing. That's one of those, I don't want her to win. I think she will win. It's not going to disappoint me that she wins.
They're building up this thing between Lyra and Bayley to have a blow-off singles match. So Becky will sneak out with the belt.
Right. And then we're getting the Women's Tag Team Championship Fatal 4-Way. Raquel Rodriguez.
I couldn't give a fuck about.
It's Raquel and Roxanne versus the Kabuki Warriors, who I'm rooting kind of for.
I'm rooting for them because I like Asuka.
Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, who I'm also kind of rooting for. And then Sol Ruka and Zarya, who I'm also kind of rooting for.
Yeah, I could give a fucking care less who wins that match.
So here's my thing. I don't want the champions to win, and they're the ones that's going to win.
Yep, because they're holding on for the blow off between Roxanne and Liv when Liv gets back.
Right. I'm not a big Raquel fan. I never have been. I'm not a huge Roxanne Perez fan. I like her more now than I did about a month and a half ago. But like we're talking barely more. Obviously I love Asuka. And she's in this. I've always been a fan of Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. They're both in it. I am a pretty big fan of Sol Ruka. I'm interested in Zarya, but I haven't seen enough of Zarya. But yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting more for Asuka because it's Asuka, but I would rather be rooting for her against Io. So that is that.
Yeah, I miss NXT Asuka.
Oh, she was a beast.
Yeah, she was.
The battle.
Moon. Do you still work here?
Right.
The greatest line ever.
Battle Royal for the Women's Championship match. I don't care. It's a Battle Royal. I mean, I'll like it because it's a Battle Royal, and I just like to see motherfuckers throw over the top rope.
I just hope the Bella girl doesn't win. I hope Nikki doesn't win.
You know she's going to.
Oh, don't do that to me. Don't even put it out there in the world. I don't dislike Nikki Bella as a person, but she is not a good wrestler.
I dislike Io Sky saying thank you for paving the way, and Io's been wrestling longer than Nikki Bella. Did you know that?
I'm not surprised. She literally got her spot because of who she was sleeping with at the time. And I don't like saying that out loud, but man, is it true.
I am excited for the last two matches for different reasons. I am looking forward to the Jade Cargill versus Naomi match. I hope Naomi wins. I've been rooting.
I think she will because because Bianca was just announced as the special referee to that match.
Yeah.
So I think Bianca is gonna side with Naomi.
I do think Naomi is. I'm rooting for Naomi because I've been rooting for Naomi ever since she initially left the WWE.
Yeah, because she went to TNA and had a good run.
She went to TNA, went by her actual name, Trinity. Won the TNA Knockouts Championship.
Got to actually be herself. Got to actually cut promos. And got to.
It was the first time I saw her as somebody that was actually really good because I did not like the original Naomi run in WWE.
They handcuffed her.
She did what some others do. Went and made more of a name for herself and came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually think that I do like her even now in the WWE. Her on her heel run has been really good.
Yep.
And I hope they stick with it.
It's been better.
Yeah.
It's been better than what she was doing.
So I'm excited for the No Holds Barred match. And then the last match I'm excited for just because I like Jordan Grace is JC Jane versus Jordan Grace. Now, I don't care for JC Jane. I hope Jordan Grace wins.
I hope Jordan wins as well. I don't like JC Jane. She just doesn't do it for me.
I would rather this be Jordan Grace as champion versus Mariah May. Only because I know what
we still have to establish.
It's Blake Monroe.
Miss Monroe.
But
yeah, Miss Monroe.
But just in terms of talent, I would rather see her be the one in this match because from what I've seen of JC, she's not that impressive.
I agree.
And I'm ready to actually see Blake
a developmental talent.
Mix it up with people that are at least good.
I'm hoping this gives Jordan a nice short run in NXT, and then she gets called up.
That'd be nice. We just can't call
Just to
everybody
have
up
some-
though, because
Then send some people down.
and I agree with that for sure too. Don't get me wrong. There are tons of women that they could use.
Because we need to mix it up. Because
Yeah.
part of the problem is we've seen all these matchups.
Right.
So.
But yeah. So what I think we'll do moving forward for these, I think we will give a little bit of info about us and our backstory for the next few videos we record. Originally, what I wanted to do was do an hour to an hour and a half video sometime within the last few days as like an intro to who we are. But I actually got super busy.
With our schedules, that's troublesome.
Yeah, I got super busy out of nowhere. But we also kind of have more of an idea of what we're going to do moving forward too. I mean, obviously, so for those of you that are here, we'll cover the AEW and WWE stuff for the most part. I don't think we're going to cover SmackDown unless Joe wants to spearhead the conversations in that by watching it. I don't have access.
I can do that. We can.
I will gladly.
I can watch it and then lead that, and you can watch some clip shows to catch up. Well, I'll watch Collision. I like Collision.
No, but no, that's fine. We can obviously still do recordings on Friday nights. It wouldn't even be Friday nights. We'd probably record it Saturday mornings.
Yeah, it would be Saturday sometime.
Because Friday nights I actually have D&D, so I wouldn't even be home.
I work, and wouldn't be home until late that evening. So
right. We will Monday nights record after the shows are over, starting at about midnight. And the good news is, Raw is only 2.5 hours of mostly commercials, so it's not like there's going to be a whole lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I need to set up my ad blocker so I can not get the commercials.
We will cover Raws, we will cover SmackDowns, we will cover Dynamites, we will cover Collision, and we will cover PLEs and PPVs. If this ever takes off to a point where we can actually start making money off of it, we may branch out and do other content with it. I do know at some point we will probably both start doing things where our faces are on screen and stuff. I just wanted to get our voices out there for now, because podcasts are mostly supposed to be stuff that you listen to and not watch. But yeah, this was a long one, and I do apologize for anyone who's sitting here for 3 hours listening to us.
Yeah, the first one was always going to be a long one.
It was a long pay-per-view though.
It was a long show.
We condensed
old Vince McMahon WrestleManias there at the end.
We condensed a 7.5 hour pay-per-view down to 3 hours.
And you kind of got a sneak peek at Saturday Night Main Event and Evolution.
Yeah. Something we will start doing as well. As we get closer to actual big shows, pay-per-views, PLEs, things like that, we'll start doing predictions as well. I don't know how we're going to do predictions. I don't know if we're just going to pick who we think is going to win. I don't know if we're going to do confidence points. I like the idea of confidence points.
We'll put something together.
Yeah.
We'll brainstorm and put something together.
But yeah, we'll do some kind of prediction and have some fun competition that way.
Yes.
I would have failed miserably on tonight's show. I'll tell you that. A lot of the people I predicted, I think the only one I nailed Hangman, I nailed Athena winning, MJF winning, and that might be it.
It really, I had people I wanted to win, and I just kind of stuck with them. Tony, I would have picked. Well, I don't know, because midway through the show, I would have probably wanted to change that, but
yeah, I didn't
we'll have to start locking them in here soon.
I didn't get so I actually picked the Death Riders to beat the Ops because I thought they were going to stack the deck to make people think that Mox was going to win. So I thought,
thank goodness that didn't happen.
I legit thought the Death Riders were going to win. So I got that wrong. The men's casino I got right. The TNT title match, I think everybody and their mom got wrong.
Well, considering it was a completely different match and then a surprise winner.
Right. I thought that the Bucks were going to beat Swerve and Ospreay.
I did too. I will agree with that because it was for the EVP titles.
I did pick Athena in my AEW Pick'em that I'm a part of online. She's the one I picked because that's who I wanted to win. I think I originally thought Willow was going to win, so technically I would still probably have gotten that wrong if me and you would have picked who we thought were going to win. Because I feel like Willow is that sleeper female in AEW that they try to force into successful situations.
Yeah, but she's also always the bridesmaid, never the bride. She never gets like over the hump.
Right, and she will. Like, she just signed a new deal, and
she's over, man.
People love her, and she's good. Yeah. It's not like she sucks.
No, she's good.
And then I definitely did not think Hurt Syndicate was going to win. That's one of those I'm happy that I was wrong, though.
I would have picked Hurt Syndicate. I don't see them losing to anybody anytime soon. Except for maybe AFTR, which they now seem to be going that direction.
I picked Mercedes to win. I picked Kenny Omega to win.
Tony. I would have probably picked Kenny as well.
I thought because I do have Hangman winning. I thought, as far as heel and faces winning, I thought Kenny was going to win, and I thought Mercedes was going to win. I had Mercedes picked because I thought they were going to push that into a feud with Athena. And then I had Kenny picked because if this is supposed to be the number 2 world title-ish thing, I thought Kenny would have been the perfect person to be the first unified champion for that. I was apparently wrong in my pick, as you guys can see from the thumbnail that I've already shown Joe the picture of.
Yes. Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, I would have had 2 right. 3 right. 2 or 3.
Well, that's all right.
I'd have got whomped. The only show... You want to know what the only pay-per-view I've ever fully predicted correctly? It's only happened once.
What's that?
Forbidden Door from 2 years ago, and I didn't know who half the people on that fucking show were.
You just picking them out of random.
Some of them I picked by name. I was like,
I've heard of that person. Sure.
That name sounds cool. They'll probably win. Like 1 or 2 of them were educated guesses. Don't get me wrong. But most of them were like, hey, I like that person's name. Oh, hey, I think I've heard about them being good.
Yeah, you're a late adopter to AEW. So.
I am. And I do love all their partnerships, probably more than WWE's partnerships currently, except for I do like TNA, old school TNA, really old school TNA. I can't speak much for the current product. There are a couple people I know for a fact I do like from current TNA. I like Moose.
Yeah.
He's interesting.
Moose.
I like
Joe Hendry.
I like Gresham.
I don't like Jonathan Gresham.
I do like Joe Hendry. Obviously, I danced to him fucking coming out during the Rumble.
Yeah, you were very excited.
Hell yeah. I didn't expect him to be there.
I did. It was pretty. It was really
Or no, it was WrestleMania. I didn't expect him to be at that. I got surprised. That's right.
Yeah, because he was Orton's Open Challenge or whatever.
Yeah. We did expect him to be in the Rumble, but it was still fun to see him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, those are 3 people. I don't know any of their women at this point.
Yeah, we would really have to take off to get me to watch TNA. And not that the product is bad. It's just that is a lot of wrestling in one week.
I do know they have currently...
And I will not watch, no matter how many people listen to this, I will not watch NXT at its current iteration.
No. Yeah, so before anyone gets any ideas, there will be no NXT. And I will say that now. I hate their production. I don't know how much of it is Sean's fault. I don't know how much of it is H's fault. I think it's probably a combination of both, if I'm being honest. But like, I hate
their backstage segments are awful.
I hate that it's filmed like an actual soap opera, and they've got like camera cuts during backstage segments and stuff, and like, I hate it.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
I miss the old indie-rific black and yellow.
I remember back when it actually felt like true developmental for the full package of the main show. Like, that's what I miss.
Well, I miss it being treated like a third brand. It was like a third brand of wrestling. You actually had. I mean, most of those people that were down there during the black and gold era were already ready for TV. Right. They were just down there because they didn't have creative for them on the main roster.
There are special occasions where we might cover something we normally wouldn't, or I might do it on my own if I'm feeling froggy.
You like to watch the takeovers.
I like to watch the WrestleMania NXT show, specifically. Stand and Deliver. That's what it's called. NXT Stand and Deliver. I've watched the last 3 Stand and Delivers and have been thoroughly entertained by all 3 of them because it focuses on the wrestling and none of the storylines.
So it's just work rate.
Exactly. It's my favorite version of NXT because here's the thing: a lot of the men and women that are there are talented, absolutely. I just can't stand the production behind the stories and stuff like that. It drives me crazy.
No, it's the cheesy storylines. It's the campy BS. Like the work rate and stuff is not the problem.
TNA is also rough. We might not cover much TNA. Even if we get dear, that was the like worst fucking sentence I've ever tried to speak.
It is 2 a.m. So.
if we get big enough, I wouldn't mind covering some TNA. Long term. The other ones that I'm more interested in, definitely, that I think you're more likely to get the both of us, is a big Ring of Honor show, only because it's pretty much AEW. But it has to be
AEW light.
It has to be a big Ring of Honor show. I'm not going to watch every. Like, I would have probably done Supercard of Honor this year because that's their biggest Ring of Honor show, but I wasn't home, so I wouldn't have been able to watch
I would be willing to cover Wrestle Kingdom.
Wrestle Kingdom. That was the other one. New Japan. There are some things in New Japan I would love to cover.
Wrestle Kingdom is usually a fun show every year.
And the only other thing I can think of, and these are ones I would definitely probably do for myself, because I wouldn't force you or subject you to do it. There are going to be times I will either shoehorn the conversation into something we're already doing, or I might, like I said, do a solo show for something from CMLL or AAA. I'm definitely more of
you like your lucha.
I'm definitely more of the lucha fan. Like, you want to know what my favorite part of WCW had nothing to do with the NWO.
Mine either. I'm a big Rey Mysterio fan.
My favorite thing from WCW, hands down, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Ultimo Dragon, La Parka, fucking Chavo for the little bit he was there, Juventud, Canyon, even though he wasn't really a luchador. But no, yeah, I loved the cruiserweight, light heavyweight, whatever they fucking called it over there in WCW.
It's cruiserweight.
Cruiserweight, because yeah, WWE did the light heavyweight until they adopted cruiserweight once they
bottom out. Yeah,
bottom out.
Because the light heavyweight champion was Taka Michinoku.
I love me some Taka. Dude is actually way more talented than WWE let him be.
Oh yeah, it was him. Yeah.
In fact, that's why
Japanese Taka, not WWE Taka.
And I did want to bring this up as the last. Actually, I wanted to talk about it way earlier. You and I had talked about how you're tired of seeing like CMLL people show up in AEW, and I
Yes.
I brought up the one
With their belts, without their belts.
I brought up the one exception I love seeing on AEW TV personally is Mystico, and there's a reason. For those of you that don't know, I was one of the few people that I knew that was super excited back when the WWE had signed Mystico originally
And turned him into Sin
and brought him in as Sin Cara. And when Sin Cara showed up, I was super excited. I didn't even notice the quote unquote botches initially that people seem to have problem with.
Oh boy, you were going out on the line spot.
And
It's
the thing
so it's
the thing that I had a problem with was I was a fan of what I had been able to see of Mystico when they signed him. I had watched
his
a lot of
YouTube stuff.
a lot of his YouTube stuff, and I was so excited that they were bringing him in because he was so talented, and they brought him in, and he just floundered.
Yep.
And eventually, they replaced him with somebody else that I can't remember who off the top of my head. He went back to Mexico, wrestled under a different name for a while. Eventually, started wrestling as something along the lines of like Mysticero or something like that. And then eventually, when the guy that was portraying the Mystico name left CMLL, he took back the Mystico name, and that is who is wrestling as Mystico now. Is the guy that originally was Mystico before he signed and became Sin Cara. And I think as he's wrestling now has proven how much better he really is, and I do feel like the big disconnect is he still needs to have the speed that's required to be a luchador. He wasn't as good as Ray was at being able to slow down and match, still being a luchador while matching the speed of modern American wrestling.
Well, he didn't have that time in the States as much as Ray did.
Right.
Ray wrestled a lot of American indies and stuff.
Right.
Was in ECW for a time. The other thing that Sin Cara wasn't really ready for was you're wrestling in a ring with ropes now and not cables.
Right. And
so your stuff is going to be affected by that.
Right. And that's there were some people that and what's funny, I was dead on, and people didn't believe me. I was at work when the two dudes that just left AEW to join WWE, Penta and Ray,
the Lucha Brothers.
When Penta and Ray went to WWE, I told one of my work buddies, one of my employees. They're not really work buddies, but I told one of my employees, I said, when they show up, they're going to mess up some. Not because they're bad, but because the ropes are different. Because it's different between AEW and WWE as well. I was like, it's going to take them some time to get used to the difference in the ropes. And they were like, you think so? I was like, no, I know so. And sure enough, the very first match that Penta had, he struggled. There were 3 or 4, 5 spots that like you could tell he wasn't used to the ropes of WWE. And it happened to Ray too. Ray came out, and honestly, it took Ray a little bit longer, and I think he's the actual better wrestler between the two.
I won't go that far, but he is the much more high flyer one. Penta can work on the ground. Ray's offense is more aerial.
Right, but it took Ray some time, and he's still kind of adjusting to it. I mean, he's definitely gotten better since, I can't watch the matches, but I catch highlights and stuff on Twitter, and but he's gotten better. And at some point, I still do hope we get the Lucha Brothers, because I think as a tag team, they're amazing.
It's an inevitable.
And I'm gonna be honest with you.
Situation.
Bloodline be damned. I want to see the Usos versus the Lucha Bros. I think it would be an amazing match. I want to see.
The Lucha Brothers are great.
I want to see a modern TLC style match. It doesn't have to be TLC specifically. It could just be a regular ladder match.
You should go back and watch the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers.
I've seen it
at All Out.
It's good.
Yeah, that.
Yep.
I sat 4 rows from the front row,
Were you on the hard
for
cam?
that show. I was not on the hard cam side. I was on the side across from the entranceway.
Gotcha.
But yeah, 4 rows up. Man, what a good time! What a good time!
It was an epic ladder match, and it's one of the reasons when we were watching Money in the Bank, I told you I was excited to see Penta wrestle because every time I've seen that man in a match with a ladder, it's been insane.
Uh-huh.
And he still had the best spots in that match.
Yeah.
But no.
I'm so glad they're actually utilizing him properly.
Oh yeah, much better than what AEW was doing.
In.
If I'm being honest.
Well, he was a tag team there, and he wasn't much of a singles.
Right. But no,
unless Ray was hurt.
I want to see the Lucha Bros. I'd love to see like the Lucha Bros versus the Usos versus New Day versus maybe DIY. Maybe
about Lucha Brothers, DIY, and
maybe Motor City Machine Guns
Street
instead.
Profits.
Street Profits would be good
I
too.
didn't even think about the Motor City Machine Guns.
But yeah,
it's like the X Division tag team championship.
Accurate. But yeah, I mean, you could if you're doing a 4-way, like I said, it could be. I think the first time I ever mentioned what I would like to see if it was a 4-way ladder match, I would love for it to have been the Usos, the Lucha Bros, Motor City Machine Guns, and I think I said DIY, and I think
you did.
I think the pairing of those 4 teams would be insane, especially in a ladder match. Insane on levels that I don't think you'd be hard pressed to find a match probably in the next 15-20 years that's ever going to be as good in terms of tag team insanity.
It would be high spot heaven.
It would. I love me some DIY though. But yeah, no. I think that's going to do it for our podcast. We've rambled for 3.5 hours. It's going to take me 6 years to get this shit uploaded. I'm excited though. Probably for 3 people to even notice that it exists.
Hey, that's all right. Welcome aboard, 3 people.
Absolutely. So, thank you all for hanging out with us again. We are CCW. I am still the longest reigning CCW World Heavyweight Champion. I never lost it.
Never living that down, am I?
Not at all. You should have never accidentally not heard the 3 count. We'll talk about that eventually. Fun times. But yeah, so I guess we're done. Thank you all for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Later.